That's fine.
How's the audio? Is that okay?
It's
All
good,
good.
yeah. You switched on echo cancellation?
Yes, yes. I literally had everything going, and then I discovered I was on the wrong link, and I was like, "What is happening?" And then I couldn't find my phone. It was like a whole process, you guys.
We are
Okay.
live,
So,
by the way, Amrita.
Oh,
Sorry, before we
yeah.
start,
Well,
is
it
that dog
wouldn't.
yours? If so, can you bring it?
No.
Okay, no. Okay, sorry.
No, it's a poor little dog who is not a little dog. He's actually a beautiful, beautiful animal, and I'm pretty sure he's being abused.
Oh,
My
I got too
friends
much.
and I have been trying to like get him like some kind of help, but it's really not working. So if you hear a dog barking in the background while I'm speaking, um, yeah, that's the dog that's being abused in my neighborhood.
actually,
That was
that
what you
dog
had
was
to correct.
barking last year on the Best of 23 episode too. So, 4 dogs been barking for an entire year. Koi nahi sun raha.
Yeah, he's been asking for help for a very long time, but it's just not
Well,
working out.
it's heartwarming that the dog made it through 2023.
Yes, the dog did not die in
The
2023.
bar
That
is
is good.
low. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, as long as you're alive, man, that's the bar. Hello and welcome to Khandaan, a Bollywood podcast, the ray of sunshine and hope.
Yes.
I think last year we started out the show talking about our New Year's resolutions. I don't think we're going to do that this year, right? Because I think you guys made fun of my resolutions for 20 minutes. So I'm not even going there anymore.
Did you
I
have
don't
any
even know what they are.
resolutions?
What did they make fun of? What were your resolutions that they made fun of?
I was
His
like,
resolution was to be like more awesome. That was his resolution. He was like, I am awesome and I will be more awesome this year. And we were like, wow.
And he delivered.
Yes.
That sounds
Yes.
successful to me.
I did the prediction that I will be successful in my resolutions, and I think I am.
Nailed it.
But Suchin, man, welcome to Khandaan. Do you have any resolutions?
To be more you? No, I don't. No. No, I don't. Nothing is coming to mind. Just don't suck and keep doing things. So that's my resolution.
But I gotta say, like, I think last year was personally unbelievably tough for me. Like, it was one of the roughest years I've had. But the highlights was seeing both of you, Suchin and Amrita, in London. And that was one of, like, when I think about the year, that is what will bring me joy. Like, it was so cool.
I
So
also
please come with me.
exist.
घर की दाल. I literally met you yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
बेचारा popcorn लाता है, chips लाता है, he gets no credit from me. It's like just Amrita and Suchin.
That was honestly very, very cool. So I will share that highlight for sure.
And I also wanted to say that in London, there's a huge, massive rally going on for Free Palestine, which unfortunately I'm not able to join. So we're doing this live stream instead. But I did want to kind of shout it out, and I got a little artwork in the back here by Shepard Ferry. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of say Free Palestine before we actually get into stuff that is completely not important in the larger scheme of things when you think about it. So how we're doing this show, we're going to be talking about 2023, which normally we used to do in December before the year ended, but honestly, we had no bandwidth left. We were done. So we kind of shifted it to now. And then
also the reason why we didn't do that is because 2023 this year, it just dragged on till the absolute last minute that it could. I mean, what was going on? Like, Bollywood was releasing one film after another. Like, it was insane. December was just jam packed with everything. So it wasn't like we could really do a retrospective with any kind of, well, Suchin could because he's a machine. But the three of us were just like slackers, and we were just like, we can wait until January.
We somehow managed to put like Donkey somehow into 2023, right? That was like the last straw. Like, Shahrukh, ab bas kijiye, Prabhu.
Yeah. Wait, do we want to like talk about Merry Christmas for like a little while we
No,
wait
we
for the
absolutely
rest of
don't.
our
Absolutely bloody
No,
not.
no, no. So that's what I was going through. We're going to be talking the first episode for the people that won't be joining the live stream. By the way, if you are on the live stream, join Patreon, become a member of Khandaan. It's gone really well this year. I'm really excited for what's going to be next year. And it's really the only way you can support Khandaan except, sharing a tweet or something like that or liking. Apparently, Sujoy sent me a reel that if you share our reels on Instagram, that is also a great way to support us. So this is going to be 2023 look back, and then the next episode is going to be Merry Christmas, and we're going to be looking forward to 2024. So that's what we're doing.
I
Um,
just want to say that it's been like what 5 years since we started this podcast, and even now, like it is amazing to me the amount of dad energy Asim brings to like whenever he's talking about like social media and like what you can do. It's like he's like reels. There's this thing called reels, and you can share, and you can like, and you can subscribe. This is what my friend Joy has been telling me.
I'm the kid of the group.
So we haven't seen each
before
other for 2-3 weeks now. So the energy I'm getting for Amrita is this pent up frustration of 3 weeks. So just so you guys let me know.
Sorry, Suchin, what were you saying?
I was going to say, before we talk about movies 2023, I just want to say, just to talk about you guys 2023. Correct me if I'm wrong. The number of downloads you guys did this year, was it a million or 2 million? What was it? The exact number, which is very cool.
2
Two.
million. 2
I
million
think that's fucking
insane.
cool.
It's, yeah.
It's
But
insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Uh, for an audio podcast, it's crazy. Like I didn't think it would be what it was, and that was just like literally 1 year. So I don't like the thing is when you switch portals, it's very hard to track numbers, But like if we did this in a year, I don't even know how much we won. I think yeah, we're really happy, and I mean I'm just thankful for everybody that keeps listening to us and sends us emails and things like that. We got so many emails over the break too. I wanted to get into them, and we will at a later stage, but I just don't think we have time for it today. And I also want to thank a lot of people that joined us on Instagram because they wanted free merch. We will also get to you. We haven't gotten around to that. That is still, we have not forgotten you. So yeah, but let's get into the show. Unless we have anything else to add, Amrita, anything else you wanna?
I just want to. So, Suchin, you haven't watched Merry Christmas yet.
He
I have.
has.
That's why I don't want to
Oh,
talk
you
about it.
have. Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
2023. Let's talk about the year that's been. I also want to say before we start, Suchin, man, you come in so prepared and organized, and I want to apologize that we are not on the level of the people that you usually chat with. He's been texting me, he's been WhatsApping me. Are we doing this? Are we doing that? And he's like, dude, like we're like terrible at this. Like,
It's not organized.
I was getting
It's
imposter syndrome. Man. I was like, because it's been a while since you were on the show, right? Like I was thinking.
yeah, it's been a while. It's more fear. Like December, like Amrita was saying, was just its own thing. So the entire year, and you're like, wait, what did I watch last year? What came
Yeah.
out? What did I feel? Even if I like that film, do I remember that film? So it's just that fear of like, will I even be able to say words about things? So that's where it was. It was just like trying to summarize the
Yeah.
year. So that's what that was.
And
I
also,
think-
like disclaimer that Khandaan, we don't watch each and everything that
Yeah.
came out in 2023 because we are not professional movie critics either. I speak for myself, and like well, especially movies in other than Hindi languages, I don't get to watch a lot of them, and so the movies that we discuss are probably are only going to be the ones that we watched in 2023.
Can I just say though that it is really like as somebody who grew up in the 80s and 90s, it's wild to me even now. I know I say this every single year in one of these episodes, but it's honestly wild to me that we've come to a point where we are actually apologizing that we don't watch that much content in languages other than Hindi. Like, like maybe 10 years ago, even, or even like 5 years ago when we began this podcast, Nobody even wanted to hear about all the other stuff, about the Tamil stuff, the Malayalam stuff. I don't think people even knew there was stuff to watch in any languages other than Hindi, to be honest. And then all of a sudden, like people would talk about like Korean movies or Spanish movies or French movies, but people wouldn't talk about like, Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu, and all of those things. And now all of a sudden, everybody watches everything, and I think that's beautiful, and that
Yeah.
is yeah, anyway, we'll ask him over onto you.
It was literally going to be my first point that I was going to say that, like, I think 2023 for me, the first point I was going to make is that movies, the box office is back. Like, we were waiting for it and it is back. Like, we had a, like, like Suryavanshi and stuff kind of like stumbled through it, became a hit, but the box office is back. But is Bollywood back? Because if we made a list of top 10 movies, would we be able to make that list with only Bollywood Hindi movies? And I don't think we could have, like, our tastes have evolved and they've maybe expanded, but I just don't think Bollywood has been able to deliver 10 really, really solid movies, even, like I would struggle to make that list. So I think all of our lists are going to be kind of like, different movies. Although I did try to stick to Bollywood as much as I could, but things have just changed. Like I watched so much other stuff, like Film Companion and all that, and all of your lists are pan-Indian movies. The directors' roundtables are pan-Indian actors. The whole landscape has changed, and that dominance for Hindi entertainment is not the same anymore, right?
For sure.
I'll just add two things to that. One pro Bollywood, one less so. In terms of, I think, good news to Amrita's point, and Asami said as well, that box office is back. I think more than box office, what was very cool is, there was this notion a few years ago, which I think we would all agree with, that Hindi cinema has lost touch with people in terms of popular cinema, the big movies that people want to watch. And that felt like a change this year, despite of what people thought of the films, whether it's, Shah Rukh Dominance 2023, whether it's Gadar, whether it's Animal, Rocky Rani. Hindi cinema made movies that people really, really wanted to watch this year, which I thought was a triumph. But yes, Asim, to your point, I still think the most exciting movies coming out every year are non-Hindi movies, the best Indian ones, and the films that excite me most, the ones that I'm most looking forward to, the things that feel like a great big screen experience for me, are more non-Hindi stuff. So yeah, it's a mixed, interesting bag.
And now we go to Rani Mukherjee.
Sorry, Suchin. It's saying Suchin ran out of storage. The recording has stopped. What storage? Are you on an iPad or on a?
I'm on a laptop. What storage?
Something. Your recording has stopped somewhere on
browser ran out of storage.
Yeah.
That's happened before with somebody.
Yeah, that's happened before, and it was a huge issue. That's why I'm like pointing it out.
Should I rejoin? It says you can join from a different browser. Should I do that?
The browser not allowing Riverside. Which browser are you using?
Chrome. But I can switch browser.
It won't let you. It's only Firefox or Chrome. Like it won't allow you.
No, it won't even allow Firefox.
Oh, it doesn't allow Firefox anymore. No. Okay, well then I don't know.
I think you need to get out, dump your cache of the browser, and then rejoin, and also switch on echo cancellation if you can.
Got it. I will dump cache and return.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you in a bit.
But I will say that the thing that I noticed very particularly this year while I was watching Jailer, weirdly enough, is that like we used to make fun of pan-Indian movies a couple of years, like before the pandemic, when somebody would say pan-Indian and we'd be like, what is so pan-Indian about this? Because it would literally be like people would make like a Hindi movie and then they will dub it in like 3 different languages and then release it and they'll be like, Dekho, pan-India movie. And that was so stupid, you sitting here in 2024, I'm looking back at those movies and I'm like, what were these people even thinking? Because if you look at the pan-Indian movies that that they're releasing today, not just from like Hindi cinema, but from like all the other different languages, they go out of their way to recruit like on-screen talent from like different industries. So it's, whether it's Jailer with like, Malayalam stars and Kannada stars and all of them, or whether it's something like Jawan, which even had a Tamil director, or Animal with like a Telugu director. But not only did they, like, Vanga didn't just, like, it's not just that he was a Telugu director, but he brought a lot of talent with him, both on and behind the screen, that already had a lot of success in Telugu cinema. And I think, like, that is how you build a pan Indian audience, and a pan Indian product that actually works in multiple markets. So I'm just very bullish in January 2024. I'm very, very bullish for Indian cinema as a whole, I feel. There is an echo.
That's Suchin because he dropped out and joined.
But it says this, you
And he
can't,
can't turn on echo
Yeah, it's
cancellation.
fine.
because,
Just carry on.
That is
Sorry.
what this is. Yeah.
It's
No,
okay.
no,
It's
this
okay.
is a
We've got
a
the
Riverside thing. Yeah.
back.
This is
I
a
don't know how
Khandaan
to-
thing.
Yeah, yeah. So, guys, what general trends can we kind of figure out in 2023? Is there anything that you guys kind of like picked up on that you want to discuss?
Oh,
So we have the box
I have a
office.
very minute, like astute observation, and that was the phenomenon of Shah Rukh Khan in 2023. Like,
Who Shah Rukh? Shah Rukh Khan?
Yeah,
We've never heard of this guy.
yeah, 2023 belonged to him. Like, there is no other way to put this. Like, you cannot deny the phenomenon of Shah Rukh Khan. Like, for years we have been dying and praying for Shah Rukh ek hit de do, and he like gave us three, and it was fantastic. I still remember watching Pathan first day first show, and in a London crowd, and the feeling of that, the cheers and the joy of watching this man, like almost like a backhanded slap to everything that happened prior to him in real life. He gave an on-screen answer to all of that, and that, manifesting in front of our eyes. As a Shah Rukh fan, that felt like, oh, so good, so satisfying. And then he doubled down on that in Jawan. Not so much in Dunki, in my opinion. But yeah, it was the year of Shah Rukh Khan for me. That was probably my big take from 2023 Bollywood.
And did he get like an award for the best Indian or something like that? Like, did he
Yeah, I think so.
like सबसे अच्छा ये है.
What's so wrong about it? It's
So Joy is
100%
like,
accurate.
yeah, he is the best Indian.
no contest. I think another trend, I think, was like the return of love stories. I think we've all felt like a love story shaped hole in our existence. And between Tu Juti Memakar and Rocky Rani, sort of they addressed that. Regardless of what, like for me, Tu Juti was not, I preferred Rocky Rani, but the fact that they were back, the fact that the big Bollywood soundtrack was back, which we all missed, even Satya Prem Ki Katha to some degree. So yeah, the return of love stories, and I feel like there's more to come, and they might not all be good, but the fact that it's a thing again, which I'm very grateful for.
I want to also shout. I mean, I saw it this year, but it came out last year. Hi, Nana. I think Nana. I don't know if you pronounce it. Amazing. Like, I was watching it and I was saying, wow, these are the kind of like early 2000 rom-coms I used to miss. And it's giving me exactly those vibes. And that movie blew me away. Satya Prem Ki Katha didn't. Because it was showing up on a lot of lists, but I think we'll get into that a bit later on. But it is definitely that classic rom-com love kind of mold that, a lot of people were missing, and I think that's why it probably was successful.
Yeah.
Added with, Kartik Aaryan's star shining very brightly, So that, yeah, I definitely take that on. I think there's been a resurgence of more love stories in a way. One thing, and speaking of resurgence, the Deols are back, baby.
I know, right?
Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought?
In a big way.
Yeah. So, and the other thing so all of them are back. So Bobby, I mean, we've seen the Roundtable, we've seen the Coffee with Karans, but I think nobody saw Gadar 2 being the success it is at all. And I want to play this clip because definitely Khandaan doesn't see it coming, because last year we spoke about Gadar and this is what we had to say. I hope this works.
So did Sunny Deol.
Wait, is this gonna work? Is this not gonna work? Riverside is not our friend, huh? No. No, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to edit it later on then.
Okay. Just take our word for it, audience, that we
Or
were
go back
wrong.
to the previous clip of 2022 where we make a lot of fun of Gadar 2. And now I'm annoyed that this is not working because that really messes up my whole flow. One person that I thought kind of disappeared and I maybe think she might be over is Kangana Ranaut. I don't know if this is like a big topic to talk about for this year, but she still had some steam left last year, I feel. And I think this year, like the way Tejas is making fun of online at the moment,
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy how like the downfall was imminent. I think we were kind of expecting it, but that it happened in such a blaze of glory because she had like 3, 4, 5 releases. I think Tejas, she had Chandramukhi 2, and not like even with all of her, people that just want to hate, they just don't want to go watch her movies, it seems. So I think she's blaming Geo or Netflix or something like that this week. So yeah,
It's always funny where people who do things to clearly sell out,
yeah,
it doesn't pan out as intended. So it's just like a lose-lose scenario. It's quite funny.
yeah. Any other trends that you kind of found interesting to talk about?
I think what Amrita said was very true. It was about looking at the whole pan India thing. You had, I don't think it's a coincidence that two of the highest grossing films of the year was Animal and Jawan, because it was two filmmakers, one from the Telugu industry, one from the Tamil industry, not just bringing the cast, not just but really bringing the sensibility. Those films could not have been made that way in Hindi cinema. We don't have that approach. Especially Jawan is probably a better example. So that sort of massy sensibility and that level of conviction, I don't think would have happened. And I think we'll see more of it. I think Shahid Kapoor has also signed a new film with a Kannada cinema director or a Telugu cinema director. So I think that's going to happen a lot more. Even Varun Dhawan's next film is produced by Atlee. So I thought that was very interesting and necessary also, because for them, I think Bollywood is seen as a large canvas, but we definitely need some new distinctive sensibilities. So hopefully we'll get to see a lot more exciting stuff when those two worlds come together.
Do you guys, so let's start getting to our top 10s and our lists of the year. Do you guys feel pressure to watch, like, be a completist for the year? I'm thinking Suchin probably does, and I think Amrita has no pressure whatsoever.
You're on mute,
You're
Amrita.
mute.
I was literally listening to you ask that question and be like, who, me? Like, is he talking to me? Like, he must be talking to Suchin. Like, it can't be me. No, I have zero pressure whatsoever about being a completist. And I think like that is what Sujoy was talking about, like Suchin is an actual critic, like he works, like he's a reviewer, like
He works.
like
He
yeah,
works.
like he has a job, you guys. The three of us, we are just like, hobbyists basically. We are very dedicated hobbyists, but that's about as far as it goes. We do it because the thing with watching something because you love something is that there's a lot of things that you don't love. And I've said this before, like I don't really enjoy hate watching things just to rip it apart. Like that's not my vibe. I don't think that's the vibe of the podcast in general.
Unless it's
So
Raja Hindustani.
but that was like a Patreon thing. Oh no, it wasn't a Patreon thing. It was
We
a
did it to ourselves.
Self-inflicted.
why did we do that to ourselves? But yeah, like it doesn't give me any kind of joy whatsoever to watch something and tell you just how terrible it was when I know going in that it is going to be terrible. The only one outlier in this respect was Kabhi Sawt and Kabhi Saheli, that released earlier, like in April. That was like my birthday gift, by the way. Asim arranged a birthday outing for me, and it was to watch Salman Khan do Billy, 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 and yeah, that was an amazing birthday gift. Thanks, Asim.
All my gifts are Salman related, by the way. Anybody that comes in and like, if I don't have a gift, I'll just write "being human" on my hand and show you.
And Amrita doing the Billy Billy dance is the thumbnail of this episode, by the way.
I would say there are two different kinds of. You talk about being completist or the general form of watching stuff. There are two kinds. There is I want to have watched everything, which is pointless, exhausting. You're never going to do it. And there's more like focused pressure, which is I want to watch all the ones worth watching. So I guarantee you, at some point, you guys are going to talk about some movie from this year which I haven't watched, and that's what you want to watch. Everyone's like the wider list of what everyone considers the most worthwhile movies. And when you miss a couple of those, you're like, I'm wrong. I'm just wrong.
But my thing is like, there's a lot of movies that I catch up one after the other, and then they're not as effective anymore, because there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of pressure. And I think that's what happened for me for three of us, because it was literally on everybody's best of list. And I watched it and I was just, this is so slow. I just cannot, I don't have time for this, So that's one of the things. And then actively, I also maybe push back too much, how can it be that good? Like that kind of thing, because I'm just the contrarian. And then at the end, you're just so tired. I was like, do I want to watch another good movie or do I want to watch another fun movie, Yeah. And that is another thing that I have. So Sujoy was really telling me how good 12th Fail is, and I should still try to watch it before we start recording. And I just couldn't. I watched Subhash Ghai's Hero instead. That's where I was like mentally. So yeah, it's I do feel the pressure, even though we're not professional critics, and I would say we actively avoid movies instead of seeking them out. So. But let's get into our list a little bit. I think we should keep our top three at the end, or would that spoil everything already? Should we start with the top three? What do you guys think?
Start with it. It's half an hour. People are waiting for it.
Yeah, start with it. Okay. Yeah. So, Suchin, are you okay to go first?
I am. Okay. I have 3 and 1 special mention.
Okay. So let's go. Are we going to say top 3 or going to do one by one and then we chime in? I was thinking if something is on number 3 for Suchin and anybody else has it on number 3, we can just add our voice to it that it's on number 3. Yeah. Okay. Suchin, what's your number 3 movie of the year?
I don't know if mine is in a ordered. It's just 3.
Yeah.
But so I'm going more chronologically. My first or third, however you want to look at it, is Pathaan. I just thought, for various reasons, it really, exactly for what Sujoy said, it really felt like a moment in time. Anyone who was in that theater, for those shows, for that energy, for seeing him back on screen, for seeing him in a way we've rarely seen him before, it's very difficult to separate the emotions of what we feel about him and everything he'd been through versus our feelings for the film. But it also was, I thought, a very, very sort of fun mainstream film. That's especially after you watch Tiger 3, that film just increases in value, and just to get to see Shah Rukh, to experience him like that, it was also a very rare sort of. I thought about it the same thing I thought about when I watched War. It was like a really fun, big mainstream action film that was very self-aware. It was having fun. It knew exactly what it was doing, and it was very cheeky. And so yes, I would say Pathaan. Because for all of those reasons, and it's one of the most memorable theatrical experiences I've had in the last years.
Pathaan is number 3 for me too. I think because we've had 3 hits from Shah Rukh, we kind of downplay how important Pathaan was. Like when we talk about bringing Bollywood back, this man dragged the box office back into the thing again. Like he did it on his own shoulders, and nobody else did it like he did it. It was, and it's also still my most favorite of the 3 Shah Rukh movies of the year. Amrita, you will be happy to hear that I reviewed my score of Jawan. I added like a point on my letterbox because coming out of it, coming out of the discussion and the hype and watching it with my wife, who's a much more positive and loving person than I am, I was like, no, this is not that bad. So I was like, okay, I'm more positive. So, and also maybe Donkey came out, which I liked less. So my ranking kind of, I wasn't expecting to like Donkey not as much as I ended up not liking it. So all of my ranking has changed. But yeah, Pathan is just so important and so much fun. It really launched this YRF universe that we're getting in a way, right? Like War doesn't really. It's really Pathan where the start is, and with Fighter coming out in a 2 weeks time, I I'm feeling Pathan is like, there was something special about that movie that Fighter is not able to recreate. Although it's the same director, it's the same budget. We have Deepika back in a bikini. All of these cool things that we all want are coming back, but something is missing, and it's a 56-year-old man with long hair and a very scary six pack. Like, not Ritik, I meant Shahrukh. Like, both of their six packs are very scary, but the one Shahrukh has is a bit scarier. Yeah. Sujoy, you're number three.
Also Pathan. Well, it's not ordered, but just it came
यार
out
कोई
in
काम
January.
करके नहीं आता, कोई order नहीं लाता. What is this?
मैं सबसे बड़ा कामचोर हूँ. But yeah, all the things that I love about this movie I've already mentioned. I also not just about Shahrukh and the love about it, and I think John Abraham brings a lot to the table in this movie as the villain, as a formidable villain to face off with Shahrukh. That whole on the top of the trucks action sequence is still amazing to watch. It's really well choreographed, and just his physical presence brings a lot to him being the strong antagonist versus Shah Rukh Khan. So that's a good thing to watch on screen, I think. And obviously the soundtrack was bomb, and I didn't expect Jhume Jo Pathan to become the anthem of the year as much as it did. Like we all know all the Instagram reels that followed that, people dancing in the cinemas, it becoming like a concert at the end. I haven't seen that sort of a behavior from Hindi movie audience in a long time, or never. So yeah, Pathan is my choice.
Sorry, I'll just add, goes without saying, but that post-credit scene was not only insanely fun, incredibly cheeky, one of the best uses of a post-credit scene, but also I literally thought it was like, I feel like I could write an entire article on that scene about what it was saying, what they were saying, what it meant for stardom, for Hindi cinema, for all of it put together. It was a lot more than just cheeky fun. It
Yeah.
was really saying something in so many ways. And so yeah, and just that is the moment of the year for me. So yes, that I thought just added to it exponentially.
I just quickly looked at the YouTube comments, and Tiger said all SRK films this year were bad. To be honest, I was like, the name is Tiger. I'm sure there's no bias in that comment that you made. But thank you for joining us on the comment section in YouTube. Amrita, what's your number three movie of the year?
Well, same as Suchin and Sujoy. Like, I don't really have like an ordered list, but Pathan is definitely, like, I'm in a chronological order. Pathan. I think, like, that scene where he said "Ghungru toot gaye rafe ab nach," like
Yeah.
that to me is the dialogue of the year. It's like Shah Rukh
Yeah.
back on screen with a bang. Like, I remember the feeling in the theater when that scene played out. I mean, it was electric. And there are some movies that are just critic proof. It doesn't matter who has what thoughts about this movie. It just sort of connects on a very primal level with its audience, and it just knows who the audience is. And it just plays straight for that gallery. And that's what Pathan is. And it does such a good job at it. And I just really enjoyed it, and I was really happy to see Shah Rukh back on screen after all those years. John in his white chuddies, Deepika in her, amazing bikinis and her terrible Urdu. All of it, like, I loved all of it. It was kitsch It was, it was glossy. It was fun. It had like real stars instead of people who were pretending to be stars. It was everything that you loved about Bollywood. And
Hmm.
I mean, there's a reason why some people call Sid Anand, like, Lord Sid, because like the dude delivered. Like, he knew exactly what he was doing. He made a Bollywood action movie. And it was great.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
just had two more things to add on Pathan. I have more thoughts about it now. No, so also, like you said about stardom, it really did feel like the big star vehicle done right, because a lot of times we see it done wrong. Also, I know there's been a lot of talk about it, but the way it did patriotism,
Hmm.
Hmm.
sort of to watch a movie, you feel safe to feel patriotic. Half the time you're just scared because it goes into a very chest thumpy, and you completely disengage. And here, you literally, there was something very gentle and meanful about that, as well. And yeah, sorry, I just wanted to add that as well. And also
Imagine
for
how
the
I feel, Suchin, as a Pakistani about being scared watching a patriotic movie. Like, kahan se gali marenge? What's going to happen? Is it marriage? Is it Kajal? Like, what's going on? Like, where are they going to hit me? Like, love jihad? What's happening? Yeah. Okay, let's get into number two for you guys then. Suchin, what was number two? I know you guys haven't rated the movies, ranked the movies, so this whole exercise has become pointless. But let's go with number two, Suchin.
Speaking of this whole exercise becoming pointless, my second film would be Jawan. Um, I think it's harder because Jawan is not, because I've spent so much of my energy this year comparing Jawan and Pathan. Jawan is not a movie; it is sort of an experience. It's a feeling. Pathan at least has a beginning, middle, and end. Jawan really is an experience, but in so many ways, it is a spiritual sequel to Pathan. We've never seen Shah Rukh in that way before, and then they basically doubled down on it on Crack.
Hmm.
And it's really weird coming out of that film. I because it's like 5 films worth of plot put together. There's so much going on, but it's sort of, you're weighing how you felt about the overall thing versus the insanity and the joy you felt about individual moments. And I came out thinking about the flaws so much, but after Jawan stuck with me so much more than Pathan, which for some strange reason, because we'd never seen something quite like it in that way. Because again, it is that Atlee sort of Tamil cinema sensibility applied to one of our stars who we've been celebrating, but never quite like that.
Hmm.
And again, some of those moments are just truly insane, and how that movie just goes for it. So yes, I would say that for all its just unwieldiness and just massiveness, and I would go for Jawan. It really stuck itself in my subconscious. So yes, that would be my second one.
Yeah, Joe, it's not on my list. It's not in my ranking, but I remember one of the criticisms I had about Jawan was the cruelty of it, the way the cruelness is shot in it. And I remember that was the one thing that I was even telling my wife before we started rewatching it, that it really bugged me. And she pointed this out to me, like, having now seen the destruction in Gaza for months and months on end, it doesn't seem that cruel anymore. Like what I see in Jawan. So that was one of the reasons why I kind of, like, re-ranked it a little bit. Number two, Sujoy, for you.
So Jawan is not also on my list. I think Pathan is the Shah Rukh movie of choice for me this year. Jawan for me felt like very messy. So I just could not connect with the emotions that the movie was trying to say. Obviously, that whole fourth wall breaking scene, but which Shah Rukh has also done in Phir Bhi Dil Hai Hindustani, is very, very meta on so many levels. But even so, like, yeah, it was too messy for me to wholly like it. So my movie number two on my list for the top three Bollywood movies of the year is Rocky Rani Ki Prem Kahani. I don't think I've, like, in the many years of watching movies at the cinema in London, I don't think I've watched a movie so many times at the cinema, because this movie just has entertainment and laughs and joy and just pure Bollywood magic in, like, abundance. And to see, like, Karan Johar make a movie like this in 2023 just gives me so much hope, and also, like, so much character, so much just pure Bollywood joy is what I would define Rocky Rani Ki Prem Kahani as. Even the name is so so Bollywood, and then um, freaking Ranveer Singh just delivered the hell out of Rocky Randhawa. That's a like we live in an age where we don't remember Bollywood characters anymore. Which like Bahubali probably is the self-titular character that we remember in from the past few years. Like when it comes to Bollywood cinema, we don't remember characters anymore, like Jay and Viru or Gabbar Singh. But Rocky Randhawa is one of those characters. Like it's such a fantastically written character, and all the supporting characters that joined in this family drama and brought us the tears and the laughters in this movie. Spectacular. I love the heck out of Rocky Rani Ki Prem Kahani.
Yeah, to me, Jawan is actually an honorable mention, mainly because like it was an experience, right? Like it was a very unexpected movie experience for me, because I it completely zigged where I expected it to zag. I was not expecting its politics. I was not expecting it to have like 5 movies worth of plot. I was not expecting some of the dialogues in that film. Like so many different things about it was very much unexpected, and therefore it was enjoyable. But I don't know if I would count it as like one amongst my top 3 Hindi movies of the year. Like I don't know about that, but it definitely does deserve an honorary mention. um for me, number 2 is also same as Sujoy. It is Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani. It was it's just it's just like the little movie that could. It feels really silly to say that because it's a Karan Johar directorial. It is
Mm.
anything but little, but it genuinely feels like a movie that harkens back to the 2000s, except with better politics, I suppose. But Ranveer and Alia was so great, and the supporting cast was so great. I did not expect Dharam and Shabana to be making out on screen in 2023. Like that was cheeky and unexpected, and it was a real like cinematic event, in my opinion. The music was great, and then there are at odd points in my life, I just find myself thinking about various things that Rocky Randhawa said, like I'm a fragile and like all that kind of like, or like, just the other day I was at dinner with friends, and these are not even women who particularly watch movies, much less Bollywood movies. And all of them just, spontaneously thought about that moment where Rocky thinks Tagore is her Dadaji and says Pranam Dadaji, like that. It's just like really iconic little scenes. And I thought it was just really well done, and I don't think anyone could have made this movie but for Karan Johar. And yeah, it definitely deserves to be up there in the top 3.
So seems Suchin is having some tech issues. He's trying to log back in. I My number 2 movie is one that I did not expect. This year, I've been trying to be a bit more diligent with my record keeping of what I'm watching and what I'm not watching, because I just watch so much. So Letterboxd has been a huge help to me, because I really cannot, keep things apart. And I also wanted to keep my list Hindi based. Otherwise, this would not be on there, I think.
Mm.
But my number 2 movie is Drishyam 2.
Oh.
I really enjoyed this movie, apparently. This came out a while ago. This is not on anybody's lists anymore, but it is a strong, strong thriller. And I think what the Drishyam movies do, the Hindi version, they really adapt it to Ajay Devgan's sensibilities. There's a continuation. Adding Taboo to the mix adds so much to this movie, right? And then they also have kind of the story, that the way it's shot, the tension that they add to it, and then they also add. Now I'm blanking on the name. Vinod Khanna's son.
Akshay Khanna.
Akshay Khanna to it as like the bald inspector, which he's been perfecting as a character lately, and he's so good in it. Like I did not expect Drishyam 2 to be, when I filtered all of my non Hindi movies that I liked, Drishyam was on top, and I was like, "Wow, okay." Apparently, it's Drishyam 2. So Drishyam 2 is my number two movie of the year.
Correction, Drishyam 2 came out in 2022.
Yeah, wasn't it 2022?
Did it?
Yeah.
You
Okay,
watched it
then
this
I
year.
screwed up. I watched it this year. That's
Yeah.
probably. Oh, okay. Then I probably need to. And then I don't have like a top three. I need to probably like rejig it. It's
Who's
yeah.
Kanchor now?
No, I have others, but I don't want to mention them because they're not Hindi. So I'll get them through honorable mentions.
Yeah, me
But
too.
yeah, I watched it here. So I thought, okay, then, okay, but that I can't add. I was going to sneak in another one, but it's also not Hindi. But yeah, anyway. Suchin, man, you're back. I'm so happy. I was getting worried there. We're all, I think Amrita also said Rocky and Rani for number two.
Yeah.
So your number one movie of the year, Suchin.
I forgot about Rocky Rani. Oh, that's tough. I'm going to give Rocky Rani a special mention, but mine would be 12th Fail. It's literally one of those movies you do not see coming that just gives you hope for so many reasons. That movie should not make you feel as much as it does because, especially I cover shows, we've seen the story done to death from so many different angles. TVF, Kota Factory, they have a monopoly on this. And yet this film feels so fresh, so refreshing. It is a moment for Hindi cinema in 2023 for a smaller film getting the love it deserves to really take a stand against these mammoth star-driven vehicles, against all the spectacle. It's a moment for Vikrant Massi's career. It's this insane story of Vidhu Vinod Chopra. We've all seen directors who are known for their past, from yesteryear directors who fizzle, who just seem to, you take RGV, Ashutosh Gowarikar, they just one day lose it, it disappears. And here you have someone like that reinventing themselves to such a degree. And I felt that story so much, and I still wonder why. But there was so much honesty and emotion, and it came together beautifully. So yes, that would be my other top film of the year. And I've got one special mention, which I'll mention later.
Sujoy.
Yeah, it will be 12th Fail for me as well. Like I kept away from this movie. I don't know. I have a reason because the trailer was cut so badly. It felt so generic. And a lot of what this movie does is not trailer friendly because there are so many like long shots in this movie, and that's why the flair of the director is so much more apparent in 12th Fail. That's why the emotions deliver so much. There is like a tight grip on how every scene should unfold, and the craft of everybody involved, not just Vikrant Massey, but from the village people and to his gang of friends in Delhi, and how the story of UPSC aspirants. I'm very, very close to this sort of a competitive exam environment. I've seen my brothers go through this grind. I've seen my cousins go through this grind. I've seen the whole big herd of Mukherjee Nagar students who spend years after years attempting this exam, and what that feels like, the frustration. It's this collective story of all of that culminating towards the end, and the emotion, it just delivers the truth of that emotion. And I just felt so good watching it, like, but also like it, I sort of compiled it and comprehended it in a different way of how India as a nation also failed these people, of the hardships that they have to go through to just climb through or climb over that class divide. This is probably one of the only few ways that they can, and it's like the odds are so stacked against them. It's that story. So I get to celebrate the victory, but also look at the failure of the system against that as well. And so I think 12th Fail delivers on all of that. It's such a magical movie. I did not expect to like it as much as I did, and I'm so glad that in 2023 we can get movies like this.
It's one I missed. Although even yesterday you were, telling me about it when we were watching Merry Christmas. That how good it was. So yeah, I will get to it though. I will get to it. There's been so much praise. Amrita, your top number one movie of the year.
So I have not watched 12th Fail either. I will watch it. It's been on my list, but literally all anyone would tell me about 12th Fail is that they cried watching it, and I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I'll watch it. I'll watch it, and then like it just never happened because I'm already crying every day, so I don't really need the extra encouragement. Thank you. But I will watch it. I know I will watch it, and I enjoy Vikrant Massey as an actor.
Yeah.
And I think Vidhu Vinod Chopra makes good movies, so like sure, I'll watch it. Um, okay, my the third slot for the year. I'm not going to say it's my number one movie of the year for reasons that will become very clear shortly. I'm gonna mention a movie that I think deserves to be up here just because it was a cultural moment. And that movie is Animal.
Makes
You,
sense.
you
Yeah.
did a Sriram Raghavan on us, Amrita.
Anurag
Correct.
Kashyap.
And listen,
Okay.
hear me out. So hear me out.
Yeah.
The reason why I think Animal deserves a spot up here in the conversation is not because I think it's a good movie. I think it's blatantly not a good movie, but it did this thing that very few movies are able to do, which is organically spark a conversation about various different things, whether it's gender politics, whether it's masculinity, whether it's patriarchy, whether it's what marriage looks like, what male female relationships look like. And then the meta part of it, like what does it mean that a star such as Ranbir Kapoor is acting in a movie like this? What are the ramifications of that? What does it mean that Sandeep Reddy Vanga has made two movies, 2.5 movies, and they've all been like, both of them have been variations on a theme, and that theme is so successful for so many different sectors of the audience. What does it mean that Karan Johar, who just made Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani, which like Joy and I just sitting there going like, oh my god, like so nice. What does it mean that he goes on a round table and is just like, this is the most amazing movie of the year? What does it mean that Anurag Kashyap, who makes like the most like um, uh, avant-garde, politically progressive movies, posts an Instagram story and says that this movie that with Sandeep Reddy Vanga and says that this man just changed Bollywood forever. There are so many conversations to be had about this movie, and I think cinema as a provocateur is also worthy of being mentioned in a top off list. It doesn't have to be in my opinion, like when I think of like top movies of the year, I'm not particularly thinking about movies that I love. I'm thinking about movies that made a difference, that really set off ripples across society. And I think Animal delivers in spades when it comes to that.
Animal would not be on my honorable mentions. It would be on my dishonorable mentions.
Fair enough.
I will add two things to Amrita's point because I think it's very cool of you to add that to your list. Generally, I found that movie very, very interesting. And there's two other things that I find very interesting about it. Um, Number one is I think Sandeep Redivanga. If you take away the interviews and the weird Twitter trolling, I think he's a bloody fascinating filmmaker because it's very easy to have a very obvious agenda and make bad films from it. Right? You look at Kashmir Files, or Kerala Story, whatever it is. There's two things he does which is insanely interesting to me. He will do things I have never seen before. He will approach a very basic premise: person attacks person, guy takes revenge, and do it in ways that just like my brain is unable to process. My favorite example is in Arjun Reddy, which is the better movie to Kabir Singh. There's a scene where his Arjun Reddy's girlfriend is being ragged or abused in a college, and he sort of drives on this bike, and you're like, I know exactly how this is going to play out. This is going to be fighting and violence. Cut to 4 minutes later, he's not attacking the guy who's like ragging his girlfriend, whatever. They're sitting on the floor crying together, him and the other guy. Like he loves to zig when you expect him to zag. That whole Bobby Deol Ranbir final fight scene, you couldn't make this up. Like, he has such a specific approach to things where you'd never see these sequences before. And I really do think, to your point, it's very easy to have your politics and your agenda, and again, like Kashmir Files or whatever, put it plainly, in a very bad movie. It's very obvious. There's nothing to discuss there apart from a scary film has become successful. Sandeep Reddy Vanga, I think, whether we like it or not, he makes his points in a way that really invites conversation. Whether he means to or not, I have no idea, nor do I care. But I guarantee you, if somebody who's not familiar with Hindi cinema, who wasn't familiar with Ranbir Kapoor, watched these movies, I really do think he does these very screwed up things of patriarchy, whatever it is. But he does it in a way that invites conversation, it's very easy to do those things in a very whatever. And that's why I find him to be a very, very interesting filmmaker. So no, I think it's very cool of you to add him to your list. I think Animal is a very interesting one for sure.
I'm only Amrita could get away with adding an Animal to the list, being a woman. If the men had done this, she would be in so much misogynistic shit.
That's why I waited.
Yeah. No, I'm actually the opposite. I think we had a really good discussion. It was one of my favorite episodes of the year, having that Animal discussion about the movie. I think we were quite positive in general. We didn't cancel it. There were people that really had their, missiles and rocket launches out for that movie. We didn't. So I think that was a really interesting discussion. But what Suchin is saying, I'm the opposite. I have no interest in the conversation about this movie or the filmmaker whatsoever. I enjoy the movie. I appreciated facts for it. There are other themes and ideas that I didn't like at all. But that was it. I didn't watch any of his roundtables. I didn't engage with any of his tomfoolery on social media. I see it, but it just doesn't. It just seems very weak to me. Like, I just have pity for it.
The conversation became exhausting after a point. All of us, even the people who liked the film, are just tired of the conversation.
Yes.
So I completely get what you mean. Yeah, for sure.
And I do think there is some sort of alpha beta kind of situation. It's speaking of masculinity, right? He just seems like a petulant teenager to me. He doesn't feel threatening to me, what he's saying or doing, It's just like looking like a little kid asking for my attention, and I'm above that, I this is a separate discussion. We were having a whole discussion about Red Pill and MRA and Andrew Tate and stuff like that with a couple of guy friends. And I was like, oh, so these guys are like, you have to be a man, you have to take care of your woman and this and that. And I was like, yeah, fine. That part I agree with. Sure. It's the next step I don't want to listen to. Yeah, be a man, earn your money, take care of the people around you, be protective. Fine. But everything that you're saying is fucking bullshit. It's nonsense. So that's where I kind of stand with it. And I think that's that, if you want to be, you've been working out and be, rich and using that to help the people that are around you, fine. If it's about, turning that into some toxic masculinity bullshit, then I'm out, So that's kind of where I drag the line there. But yeah, my top one, speaking of that, is actually Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani. That's my number one movie of the year. I didn't have a doubt for this I didn't there were no other contenders. There was no, it's literally, I went to watch this movie 5 times in theater. 5 times in theater when I knew it was going to be coming out on streaming. And then I watched it another, literally, I think I was looking at my Prime channel, and it's my daughter has watched 20 minutes and it was telling me to finish the movie, and I was like, sure, I'll finish it again. I've watched this movie so many times, there's just no way this could not be my number one. It's super fun, it's super woke, it has a lot of things to say. I appreciated Ranveer Singh after a long time on screen again. He just annoys the crap out of me so many times, and he just shut up this time, and I loved it. Alia Bhatt is fully entering her Madhuri Dixit phase. Who cannot appreciate that? It's just a good-hearted, positive movie. I think we're going to be loving and talking about this 10 years on, decades on. It's one of those movies, Rocky and Rani. Songs are great. I was very cold on the songs at the start. They really, filled me with love since then. All of them, it's just a lovely movie. It's my number one movie of the year. Suchin, you were out. Did you want to add anything on Rocky Rani, or we're going to talk about that in honorable mentions? Let's get into honorable mentions. Suchin, what did you not add that you don't know?
Rocky Rani, definitely honorable mention. I think that film is an achievement on so many levels. I don't think people realize how difficult it is to make that film. Karan Johar is making a Karan Johar movie while taking digs at Karan Johar, while also being an ode to Karan Johar's filmography. It's the big Bollywood movie done with so much conviction and heart. That's also very self-aware. That's also poking fun at itself. It's such a delicate, difficult tone to strike, and yes, so that one for sure. And the other one for me, as a special mention, is Kho Gaye Hum Kaha. When the trailer came out, I immediately felt like, Archie's was what everyone was talking about, and I was like, no, I feel like this one's going to be the one. I didn't love every aspect of that film, but I think there's a very honest, refreshing drama in there about sort of friendship and life in the digital age. I think that there are a lot of places when the movie, there's so many times when the movie is just about concepts. It's just trying to lecture us about social media, and that you can see through it. And that, but when the movie really lets it be about the characters, really about these people and what they're going through in life, I really, really felt it, and it just felt like a really hopeful end to the year. So I think there's a very sincere drama in there somewhere, and I feel like it's a special mention to me.
I really, really like that movie too. The only problem I had is that the voice of every character is the same narrator voice. Like the stand-up comedy is in the same voice as the guy that's working out and the voiceover that's happening. And I think that's the only issue that I had with the movie. But I think it was great, and I think the performances was great. I'm slightly old, so a lot of these themes don't speak to me necessarily, but I understood these characters, which is good filmmaking, right? Even if you don't like, that's a real problem I had with Satya Prem Ki Katha. Like, I have no understanding of these characters and the performances. And after watching the movie, there were scenes where I was like, I don't understand why they're crying. What is the emotion? Why are they sad at this moment? But with Kho Gaye Hum Kahan, I totally got it. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, I even get that. I love that line from Ananya Pandey where she just says, I cannot stop watching you on Instagram. And I got that because I was literally going through stuff happening in Palestine. And I was like, why do I not just shut this off? It's just bringing me grief, but I can't, and that really connected with me. I thought that was a really, really good movie. It's not on my list though. Sujoy, you have any honorable mentions?
I have, but they are all non-Bollywood. That's
Yeah,
why I put them
yeah.
in the honorable mentions.
Yeah.
So I watched two Pakistani movies this year, Joyland and The Legend of Mola Jat, and
Joyland,
both of them,
yes, 100%.
full of heart, full of flair, full of passion, full of violence, full of love. I really, really, really like them. So I would like to mention those for people who haven't watched them. Please go and find. I think Joyland is streaming on some movie
Movie.
or yeah. And Legend of Mola Jet still hasn't been on streaming yet. Otherwise, I'd be watching it every single day.
Yeah.
The other non-Hindi movies that I want to mention is Irata, which I still think about every single day. It's a Malayalam movie which came out early in 2003. I think it was released in January. It's how done it, who done it, but also so much more than that. It's a very, very dark drama. I don't want to reveal anything. Just go watch it. It's. I still think about it.
Amrita, any honorable mentions? You're on mute.
Yes, I do actually. So same as Sujoy, I have The Legend of Mola Jhat as part of my honorable mentions. I would have put it like, obviously it's a Pakistani movie. That's why I didn't include it in my top three, but it would have been right at the top of my list. It was not just an amazing cinematic experience, but also it was like it's also one of my favorite theatrical experiences because it was literally last minute. It was a special re-release. It wasn't even supposed to be
Yeah.
playing. Isa was like, Asin's wife was just like, you should go, and like she like planned out our our journey. Like she
We
knew.
came out of a movie, we were having dinner, right? And
Yes.
said, "Go watch this movie because Amrita will never get a chance to watch it." So she booked the tickets and she sent us out. And I was like, "Man, thak gaya, I want to go home." She was like, "No, take Amrita to watch." But nicer, nicer. She was nicer.
And we took poor Yamini with us, and Yamini was just like, I want to go home. And Isa was like, no, you don't. You want to go with Amrita. And like,
Yeah.
Isa was just like, it's like very like arrange a play date energy, but it's like one of the main reasons why I love Isa because like I can just like blindly trust whatever Isa tells me to do, and it'll always work out really well. And then we went and we watched it, and it was Eid, I think. So everybody that was coming to watch it was like dressed really nicely, and we were less like like three rat people that just sort of like slouched in as well. And then the movie came, and the movie was just so like I don't even know what I was expecting. Like it was just one of those amazing, amazing theatrical experiences where you're just sitting there and letting the cinema just wash all over you, and you just remember like why you're a cinephile and what cinema is, and like what like South Asian cinema is like, like that masala-ness that you can't find in any other cinema anywhere else. Such a joy. Like you just like have like so much, like even if you don't like the movies, you will love the movies when you're watching this film. And then it was just everything was just perfect. And
It's, by the way, it's a 2022 movie. You guys saw it on the
yes,
re-release. That's why you're talking about it.
yeah.
Let's call it the Disham 2 problem here. But
I
anyway,
mean, I watched it on the big screen, like like
yeah,
I like I have like that.
you're better than me.
Yes, yes, I so that was one. The other one that I want to call out is PS2. PS2 was
Yes.
also is very memorable for its theatrical experience because Joy, Hasim, and I went to watch it together, and let's
Let's
just
not get
say
into details
yes.
there on live.
A lot of
Let's
things
not.
happened during that show that shouldn't have happened. But I
Let's just
subsequently,
say the visual experience was enhanced.
but like I watched it subsequently again.
Mm.
But irrespective of like what I was going through, I that scene between Vikram and
Aishwarya
Aishwarya.
Rai.
I mean, the weird thing is that you don't really get to see a lot of romantic face-offs in Hindi cinema anymore. You used to see it like quite often, right? Like
Mm.
whether it's like the Yash Chopra movies or like the Karan Johar
Mola
movies.
Jat, Noori and Mola.
Sure. But it used to
Nuri and
be
Mola.
it used to be a staple of the 90s and early 2000s movies, I think, where like the female lead and the male lead would have these intense face-offs, and they would just bring it, whether it's Shah Rukh and Madhuri, or like all of those movies. And we don't really get to see that anymore. And now like you just had Aishwarya and Vikram just like eating up the screen. Like it was just gorgeous. They're just like the tension, the romantic, the sexual tension on that screen. Like it was intense. The way that we'd been building up to it all throughout the first movie, and then up to like that point in the second movie, and then the way that it played out was so different from anything that you thought would happen. Because and that's when you realize that Nandini is a bit of a liar, because she's been saying these things, and then when she meets him and she's confronted by him in the flesh, it just completely falls apart. Like all her little lies just sort of fall apart, and it is such a wonderful piece of character development. Like it just blew my mind when I was watching it. It was this classic Mani Ratnam. I loved it. I just enjoyed it so much. And my third one that I just want to give a shout out to is Kadal the Core, which is the Mammootty film where he plays this gay man who is forced to come out because his wife basically outs him in their divorce battle, or the divorce case. Actually, it's not really a battle. And it's just like, it was just very unexpected. Like if I had a bingo card, like Mammootty playing a gay character would not have been on my bingo card, like ever. I just like, I grew up watching Mammootty movies, and the man is just like synonymous with like masculinity, and like a very like heteronormative masculinity in Malayalam cinema. And then to like watch him play this character, it just it truly is a different world that we're living in 2024, I feel. And I see so many people who are like really upset that this movie came out, and they're just like, I don't understand why everybody likes this movie, or why they keep talking about this movie. Like, why is he like, playing this character, and it's like, against God and blah blah blah.
That's
And
why you make that movie. That's exactly
yeah,
God was involved in the movie. God was there.
and Mammootty, like, he produced this film. It wasn't just that he was acting in it. Like, he put his money where his mouth was. So just like a huge, I just want to like give a huge shout out to Kader the Core as well. So those would be my three special mentions.
A lot of my honorable mentions are already mentioned. Irreta is one of them. I mean, this would be my number 2 movie if I hadn't screwed up with Drishyam 2. So that's what was slotted in there before. It's a movie I literally think about so many times. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's on Netflix. I don't feel enough people are talking about it. They've not added it to the list. I don't know why. They should. It's really, really good. PS2 is definitely on there too, for the experience that we had and the movie itself. It's also such a massive undertaking to pull off a two-parter. They'll just throw out, oh, this is going to be a serial, this is going to be, Brahmastra type 7 movies, and then they make one and then they just quit. But they actually pulled it off, and they didn't even make it easy or accessible to people that have not understood what the movie. They didn't recap anything. They just throw you in and just swim, like sink or swim. And they pulled it off, and still adding it to so many lists that we enjoyed is amazing. I'm gonna stop shaking my hand. It's becoming annoying here. Archie's is in there for me. Definitely, we haven't talked about it. A movie I absolutely adore.
Oh, sorry. Are we supposed to be drunk doing this conversation? I wasn't aware. My bad.
I was gonna just say I am a dad.
Okay.
I have an 11-year-old daughter in the house.
That's where I went wrong. Yeah, my bad.
Yes,
my bad.
You need to kidnap a kid before you watch certain movies. And the joy this movie brings to her is undeniable. And this movie has been played at least 20 times in our house, and it has not lessened the joy after that 20th watch. It is such a positive movie. Like with Rocky and Rani, the messages that it will, like, my daughter was singing "Everything is Political." It achieves something that with my long rants that I give her about politics and society, I was not able to do with Zoya Akhtar was able to do with a snappy song, and that is what I wanted. Amazing work. Archie's is in there. Hi Nana, which I watched in 24, so I didn't add it, but that's definitely in there too because of the rom-com energy. And Joyland, I want to shout out at least one Pakistani movie. We screw up so many times. The few times that we actually manage to do something half decent, it needs a mention. Joyland is this movie. The themes, the way it's shot, it's so different. Like, like anything that's come out, like it's just a totally different vibe. And those amazing performances by those 3 leads, it sticks with you. It sticks near your ribs, and that's that kind of movie that Joyland is. I hoped Pakistan would get their shit together and support this movie and promote this movie, but unfortunately they could not. And that's why I'm here, being here, the Pakistani voice, and telling you to go watch Joyland. And go watch Maula Jat 2 is the movie that Animal wants to be. That's what Maula Jat is. I'm going to add one more movie that's slightly cheating, but chalega. Polite Society. I'm adding in there. It's not Bollywood, but it's Desi people. There's just somewhere else, and us burger NRIs were as good as you guys are. Add us to the list, include us, please. Polite Society, if you haven't seen it, again, a movie I feel that's very underappreciated. People don't talk about enough about it. But and also maybe it has skewed because I have a younger daughter that really, really appreciate the movie. Maybe it has skewed things because I got to watch this movie with Amrita. A lot of factors play in, but this was lovely, right, Amrita? Like,
I mean, I still think about that Mardala performance from that movie. Like, it is the best homage slash recreation of a Bollywood
yes,
song that I've seen in years.
yeah,
They just like, and just like really good young actors and old actors as well, but like the young actors just like kill it. And just like a fresh and really sweet movie. And it's just such a joy to see young women have fun on screen. Like I am 100% support Asim with Polite Society.
yeah.
Oh,
Just on Polite Society support. Otherwise, no. Just this part.
what are you
Guys,
for?
we're an hour into the stream, and we've literally only done the first topic here. So
Exactly.
I was, when Asim came up with his category idea, and I remember thinking to myself, why are we going through all this? Because we'll never get through the list.
No.
And he was like, well, should we do like 10 categories or 5 categories? And I was like, we are not going to do any categories, but sure, like, you can think about it.
So Joy, what was the we did a little poll too, right,
Yeah.
from our listeners. What was the
Yeah.
top movie for
So
our listeners?
yeah, our listeners are so much in sync with us. I think the top three movies that came out of the many entries that we got on our listener polls from our Google form were 12th Fail, Rocky Rani Ki Prem Kahani, and Pathan. And Jawan, actually. No, actually, I'm wrong. Jawan, Pathan, and Rocky Rani Ki Prem Kahani. 12th Fail is on number 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Either
good,
that
good, good.
means that they're on the same
Let's move
wavelength
on.
as you guys, or just means that like only
Mhm.
6 good Hindi movies came out in 2023. It's
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next one. What were your? Let's go quicker here because
Yeah.
otherwise we're never going to make it. What were your top 3 songs of the year, Suchin?
do you want all three?
Yeah. Go for
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So really quickly for me, it was the song I liked most was the Jawan title track. It's basically sort of just the BGM of that film, but it just captures the feeling of that film so well. And every time I hear it, it's just excellent. Just the favorite soundtrack, it's not song, but for me, my favorite soundtrack of 2023 is the Tu Juti Main Makar soundtrack. It is the best album of the year. Rocky Rani tries, but the big Bollywood full-bodied album that we got to see again. The fun song, the big song, the sad song, all put together. It is that soundtrack without a doubt. And the only other one I had on here was the Jailer soundtrack, which is again not Hindi, but I think that's the most sort of
Kavalaya.
best.
Yeah.
And even just the main theme is just excellent. And so just again, it's BGM, each song,
A lot
whatever
of
it is.
Anirudh.
Yeah, it's all about Anirudh. So yes, that was my 3 for songs, right?
So, what were your 3 songs?
None of what Suchin said. Well, one, Pyar Hota Kai Baar Hai from Tu Jhuti Mein Makar.
Agreed.
Yeah, Ranbir stole the show. The song is fun. The dance choreography on the drone shots on the on the penthouse thingy. Yeah, I live for that. So Pyar Hota Kai Baar Hai from Tu Jhuti Mein Makar. Besharam Rang, everything to love about Shah Rukh and Deepika, scorching hot, and Vishal Shekhar doing their Vishal Shekhar thing. And from Pippa, Main Parwana, the only Rahman entry of the year with Ishan Khattar dancing his ass off. I freaking love that song. I've
That's
listened
such
to
a good
that
song.
so many times. I don't
Even the
think
way
I've
it's shot,
replayed a song. Yeah,
yeah, very
so
cool,
good,
right?
so good. Yeah. A special mention for the soundtrack of Rocky Rani Ki Prem Kahani. I freaking like Tum Kya Mile has grown on me so much. It's like the love anthem for I don't know why, but this song just keeps growing on me. And also Salma Setaro Wali, what was that? The wedding song.
Oh,
Kurmai.
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 Yeah, yeah,
Kurmai.
yeah.
So good, so good, so good.
Amrita?
So there's this song from PS2 that is really a background song, but
Mhm,
it's Sudanaratham,
mhm,
which is the song that plays when um, what's his face is Jayam Ravi is hiding out at the Buddhist monastery, and then he's lured outside, and then there's this whole sort of like arts and rituals parade that they throw for him because they're trying to murder him in the middle of it. And this is the background song that's played during that particular scene. And the moment I heard it, I was in love with it, and it's only grown throughout the year. That's my favorite Rahman song, also of the year. Then I also fell down this Kumar Gandharva uh, hole after watching Three of Us. I was telling Sujoy, and Sujoy was like, "It's too slow and too sad," but I could not stop listening to Nayan Ghat Ghatatan, and it was just like it is just the most beautiful song that I've heard in years. And then what other song? And also I've been listening to, there's this particular part of Wat Jhumka, which is
mhm,
sort of like this big band sound that comes up.
mhm.
And it's just like, it's just like wind instruments, and they're just like playing like the chorus again. And I love it. Like I've replayed and listened to that particular bit over and over and over and over again, like a crazy
And
person.
in the movie version, I think they added a bit of Vekamleya into that as well.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
uh-huh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like
um
a foreboding.
and then just a honorable mention to the Tu Jhooti Main Makkar album that Suchin was talking about. Except when I said that to my real life friends, they made fun of me for being a Dilli wali, and they were just like, "Oh, is that why you like it?"
Did
And
you
I
show
was
them the
like,
tumka?
like that was the song. I was like, hey, I think this is like really funny and like it's a good time. And they were just like, you're such a Dilli wali. And I was like, wow, okay. And also Kavalaya was just such fun. Like I loved it. It was honestly like I enjoyed it in the theater so much, but I also like I that was probably my favorite bit of Jailer, that entire little storyline with Tamanna, and Sunil, and like what was happening with them. But that song was just perfect, and it was funny AF. If you watched Jailer, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it was hilarious, but it was also a banger. I loved it.
Also, special mention one that I forgot, the Jubilee soundtrack, the only sort of
Yeah.
Oh
online OTT
yeah, it was like
streaming show.
good.
Yeah.
Amit
Yeah,
Trivedi, Sunidhi
Yes.
Chauhan's,
yeah.
Yeah.
would you call it a mujra or a ghazal? Ye Tere
Hmm.
Mere Ishq Ka. Oh, so good, so good.
Mm. Yeah. Also, that bar song in Jubilee was really, really
Yeah,
Hmm.
I love that
good.
Hmm.
Babuji
song.
Bhole Bhale.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, the best one was Chandu Nacha for me. That is the one that I really, really loved it, and it has that Pippa quality, like that kind of like that era of
Mm.
music. I went with algorithm, like basically just how many. Like I went to my Apple Music and checked what is the song I've listened to most, and I just kind of I'm reading these out. My number one song is actually Left and Right by Ali Sethi, Abdullah Siddiqui, Manu, and Shegil. That's my number one song. Apparently, I've listened to this song at least 30 times more than the next song. So, this is truly the song that I love the most. I don't know if you guys know this song or not, but it's amazing. So, I'll add it in the show notes if you haven't listened to it yet. There's a new song also that I'm not listening to a lot, but again, you guys don't like it, and there might be some recency bias there. I'm still plugging that damn song. Suchin, I will send it to you in secret. Okay, then you tell me.
Harun Rashid is my best friend. Friendship with Sujoy and Amrita is over.
Exactly. Harun Rashid agrees with me. These two, kisi kaam ke nahi hai. They don't even rank the lists. Then Besharam Rang, Tere Pyar Mein, those were the ones that I listened to the most. The album I listened to the most was actually and maybe cheating not, but this album actually came out in this year, not last year. It's the Lal Singh Chadda extended cut,
Interesting.
and it has a Tere Hawale with Shreya Ghosal, and then it also has a non-Arijit version of Tere Hawale with Shilpa Rao, and those are the tracks I really really loved. If people haven't listened to it, maybe check that out. That's again, I just love that movie. I love that album, so it's still on repeat in my household. Yeah. What is the next category we have here? We have who had the best performance of the year. That's a good one. Um, you got a few, Suchin?
Yeah, I will list mine out. I've got 4.5. I'll list them out really fast. So for me, Vikrant in 12th Fail, it is again one of those movies where the performance is in many ways the film. It really was a moment for him. That film without that performance is not that film. You really need that to really feel it and for it to hit home, and it absolutely does. And again, just something sort of quite wonderful about it was 10 years of Vikrant, and it really felt like worthy of him and his career. Vicky Kaushal in I'm forgetting the name. What was the
Sam Bahadur.
Sam Bahadur. There you go. See, and I think that's a good, accurate description of the film, which is Vicky Kaushal in the film. His name I can't remember. I didn't love the film, but he was excellent in it. It really is. Yeah, the film was a Wikipedia tick box exercise of somebody, but like he really did so much with that, and he's been excellent in everything he's done this year. Ranveer in Rocky Rani, you cannot again, nobody else can play that role the way he does it, right? And it was the comeback of Ranveer. The way he did it, he just is that sort of insane energy he brings. It's a very different example, but when you watch Jim Carrey be Jim Carrey for the first time, it's just like the screen is vibrating, and in a very different context. That's what Ranveer does at his best in this one. And the last one I want to mention is Three of Us. I didn't completely love every aspect about that film, but what Shefali Shah and Jaideep Alawat do in that film, I think, is just to see that level of gentleness and just wonderfulness, and more the performances and everything else. Just that energy it imbues in you is it just felt like poetry on screen. So that's the last one on my list.
So, Chinman, on TikTok, there's this account that goes about fashion influencer. Is it a man dressed well or is it just a man? And sometimes with like Three of Us, is it a good performance or are they just talking slowly? Like I couldn't figure it out. But good ones. Sujoy, your
yeah, pretty much agree with what Suchin picked. Vikrant Massey is up there for me. He delivers. There's nothing more to add to that performance. I think everybody should watch it and go for this ride. Ranveer Singh for Rocky Rani Ki Prem Kahani. I would also mention Ranbir Kapoor here for Animal, not for Tu Jutti Mein Makar.
Yes.
Whether you agree or not, that performance, especially that scene at the end, just before the climax, where he has this conversation with his father. What a performance! What a performance!
It should win the Filmfare. It's like a really like a Filmfare kind of award, no? Like a performance. Like it's big. It brought in money. It's very popular.
Yeah.
Give it to. I think it's probably going to win it this year. Actually, Amrita.
Ranveer as Rocky Randhawa was just really it genuinely is going to stand up to the test of time, in my opinion. And again, like what Sujoy was saying, Ranbir in that monologue in the face off with Anil Kapoor is just, and I just want to give a shout out also to Anil Kapoor in that scene and Alia in Rocky or Rani, because people don't really understand the amount of support that those people are giving to Ranveer and Ranbir. Rocky Randhawa doesn't land as hard as it does without Alia playing Rani.
Yeah.
And Ranbir's Vijay doesn't land as much without Anil Kapoor just standing there and being the Anil Kapoor. So just a big shout out to them as well. And Jaideep Ahlawat in Three of Us, there's this scene where
on the roller
Shefali
coaster,
Shah, Yes, on the Ferris wheel, like, when they're just like sitting together and it's just, they're just chatting, and it's like I cried so much in that scene just because it just felt like I was watching real people talk. It was just the vulnerability of that scene was just off the charts. Like I loved it. I just absolutely loved it. And also a big shout out to Azmeri Haq Badhom from Kufia,
Mm.
who, like, I mean, if I ever turned gay, then I turn gay for her, because like she just like absolutely blew my mind. Like,
Yeah,
what a star turn! Like, just absolutely insane. And also Wamika Gabi in what
that
is it?
mirror sequence.
The
Uh,
yeah the in the series. What's the series?
Jubilee.
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 Jubilee. Yeah.
Oh,
In Jubilee, she's just like, I mean, what a star. Like, you just see somebody and you're just like, that's a star turn. That's what Jubilee was for me when I saw her. So yeah, those are my performances of the
Suchin, you
year.
just interviewed her, didn't you, for a
Uh, I
roundtable, if I'm not
I did. I
mistaken?
did. Yeah, she was on my interview roundtable for Jubilee. I'll just add to what Amita said. I was just thinking of, for me, the best performances are all on Hindi streaming shows. I won't get into that list, but for me, if I had to choose one from the
Hmm.
year, it would also be Jubilee for the exact reason Amita said. But that would be for me Siddhant Gupta. It really is, like, I watched that
Mm.
show and I was like, a
Oh
star is
yeah.
born. You
So good.
literally,
Yeah.
it's just, it feels electric. It's sort of how I felt when I watched Siddhant Chaturvedi in Gully Boy. Something so, like, you watch a performance so exciting. You're like, I want to. I'm now investing in this person's entire career. Whatever they do next, sign me up. And I thought
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
For
that
me,
was just electric. So that would be
yeah. For me, Azmeri Haq was on there too for me, but I was my top one is actually Tabu from Khufia. I thought, Tabu is just amazing for everything she does, and this was like this movie would not have worked if it wasn't for her, and that interplay with her and Azmeri Haq Badon, and just the subtlety of it, like I loved it all. All of that was amazing. I want to add Manoj Bajpayee in it. He's had a great year. He's done some great work, but I loved Sirf Ek Banda, most of all from all of the other stuff he's done, because it doesn't become a Damani kind of,
Mm.
court case drama. It's so much more subdued. And Manoj Bajpayee can do everything, but kind of keeping it in rein requires a sort of restraint for the movie. And he does that. And I think that's really, really amazing. I want to add all the three leads from Joyland in this because amazing work, not necessarily I mean, a lot of it is not necessarily a performance. That's the thing I have with Ranveer Singh too. Is it a performance or is it him just being himself to a certain degree, right? So I had that the same thing with Joyland too. That a lot of it is just maybe them being them,
Mm.
but amazing work. Joju George, Irrata, final sequence. Phew. Again,
Yeah.
like I did not know this actor, and I thought they were literally two actors. Like they're
Yeah.
playing twins, and I was like, that's how good the performance is. Like it's amazing. And then Mammootty, Kanur Squad. I haven't seen Kadal yet, but I thought, yeah, again, I have not seen much of his work. First shot I saw him, okay, I get this is like the biggest star ever, like I got it. And that doing that in one look without even saying anything, that kind of blew me away. So
I
those are
just,
mine.
oh, I do want to, I mentioned this when we were talking about Kadal, but just want to just like shout out again. There's this scene where Mammootty is talking to his dad, and he's basically
Mm.
telling his dad, like, because his dad was the one who like convinced him to like stay in the closet. And there's a scene where he's talking to his dad, and he says that, well, we tried it your way, and it definitely didn't work out. And he, like, it's like a weight has now lifted off his shoulders, because like, the worst has come to pass, and he relaxes, and you don't realize until that moment how like tense his body language was
Yeah.
throughout the movie, until, and it's not like a showy like kind of like thing, like he's not doing anything showy whatsoever. It is literally just that his shoulders drop like half an inch. That is
Mhm.
all that he does, but you can literally see that character change.
Mm.
And that is the kind of work that only like a complete master can do. And oh, I love Mammootty. Absolutely love him.
In the form we had, the survey we did, somebody mentioned Deepika in Jawan, and I agree. That is literally one of the best parts. Like it's like literally
Yeah.
a song and a little
Yeah.
bit more, but she elevates the movie. I think that is a very good mention to just to add. Also, I want to add Deepika somewhere here. We've been talking too much.
I
Um,
cried every single time that I watched Jawan at that particular point because,
yeah,
like when she goes away and the kid is just like, "Where's my mom?" And I'm just like,
yeah.
"Ooh."
What are we next? Oh, wait, my thing got lost. Okay. Director of the year. I think this we can do quickly, right?
Yeah.
Do you have one, Suchin?
Yeah, for me, I mean, so many special mentions on this. Karan Johar comes to mind, but for me, it would be Vidhu Vinod Chopra for two reasons. A, obviously, the film is the no-brainer, but also it's hard not to reward the journey. It's everything I was saying earlier. For a filmmaker with that body of work at this stage, there is no need to and to make a film that literally feels like he's reinventing himself to do so much with the craft, to tell such a familiar story we've seen done to death in such a refreshing way. And you feel like you suddenly feel so excited for everything this director is going to make next. And you've seen this story go wrong, both of the film and of the director. You've seen it go wrong. We've seen so many directors try, and it gives you so much hope because you can just feel someone having an absolute blast, really connecting with their inner filmmaker and really going for it. For a film that doesn't have to work, it's not a big star, it's not a big whatever, and to see that level of passion, dedication, craft, and just a filmmaker having a blast and really is just, it's such an inspiring, hopeful story. Not to mention what it means for the box office is the rare small film that's holding its own against all the mammoths of 2023. I really do think 12th Fail is just giving an entire community of the filmmakers that I think all of us would class as our favorites, making the meaningful small films or mid-budget films that just seem to be disappearing, and this film is giving them hope. So for me, it's just the Vidhu Vinod Chopra story of 2023 is just undeniable.
देखनी पड़ेगी. Sujoy.
Also with Vinod Chopra, I think like what works for me is that the character of Vikrant Massey, Manoj, trying to crack the UPSC finals is almost reminiscent to what Vidhu Vinod Chopra has been in trying to crack this movie for so many years. Like the last successful Vidhu Vinod Chopra movie directed by him was a long time ago, right? And I heard he rewrote the draft 260 times or something for 12 Fail. All of that you can see, you can smell, you can feel it in this movie. So I pick us VVC, baby.
Amrita?
I haven't watched 12 Fail, otherwise, I probably would agree with you. I'm gonna go with Atlee because dude came to an industry where he doesn't even speak the language. Like he doesn't even speak Hindi. And he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make like the most successful movie of the year in this language that I don't speak. And I'm not gonna adapt it whatsoever. I'm just gonna like make exactly the kind of movie that I like to make. And y'all are gonna like it. And he did it. That's called having vision. Like that's somebody who like really knew what he was doing. And it was just a lot of fun. So congratulations to Atlee.
My director of the year is Karan Johar. Not only for the director he is, for the man he is, I feel. I think it's just so easy to. I'm getting there.
Justify it fast.
I think, yeah. No, I think we just easily say, oh, he's just making another Dharma movie or a Karan Johar movie, right? But we have to look at the context that he literally got almost like held hostage by the government like a couple of years ago. Takht failed, like he couldn't mount it. It was going to be the huge thing he wanted to do. He wasn't able to do. He pivoted and made like one of the most amazing movies of the year. He's hosted like episode season 7 of Coffee with Karan, which is again like a talk show host that we talk about. It's not maybe as big as it was, but it's still one of the most important talk show. He's literally doing a fashion show last week, and he's on any round table giving the most insightful, thoughtful ideas and being so eloquent and being so generous to all of his other filmmakers. He's promoting smaller filmmakers. He's being he has time for Konkana, but he also has time for Vanga. Like he's literally one of the best ambassadors for Indian movie making out there. And I really like the guy. Like I don't agree with everything he does or says, but I really, really like the guy. And there's there's not many directors I can feel I want the best for him. And I want the best for Karan Johar. Even though he's a rich man and he's on the top of the world, I still want him to be more richer, make more movies, make me happier with the movies he makes. I think he for me, he's the director of the year. And I just, beside all of that, what I've said, Rocky Rani was my favorite movie, and it's literally one of the best movies of the year. He just did amazingly, and I think he does because he does it so with such ease and elan and eloquence. We think it's easy, and it's not, and that's why I think he is the director for the year for me. Next category. Disappointment. Let's do disappointments. Anything that I know, Suchin, you have a long list here. What are the movies that disappointed or you had expectations of? Let's even combine categories like movies that get a lot of praise or have a lot of commercial success and you didn't get. Maybe we could just like lump all of these together.
So for me, there are three that come to mind. One was Salar after KGF, which is a movie I love. It's just mass cinema done so well. Salar was very, very disappointing. It was just frenetic, more characters. It has a family tree that looks like a crossword. It's just I couldn't. It was just assault on the senses. And then the other two, which I feel are spiritual equivalents, which Asim, you won't agree with, is Archie's and Donkey, because I just felt that I really, really, really like those directors. And in both films, Archie's for me felt like Zoe Akhtar liked, and Donkey in particular really felt like Raju Hirani liked. It took you back to that Shah Rukh phase where he was working with the best directors and making their worst films with them, because there's something about them merging with the Shah Rukh image that's leading to something that's not working. And I mean, and there's so many things. What annoys me most about Donkey is there's so many things I like about it, and it's just sad. Like you wish it all came together. I loved seeing Shah Rukh as close to an everyman as we can see at this stage of his career. And there's so much I like about it. There's so much gentleness, and when the Raju Hiraniness comes through, it works. But yes, Donkey really, really was a disappointment. Archie's as well. I just felt it was a very low energy film, and I didn't think Zoe Akhtar could make a film which at least wasn't enjoyable for me. And yes, so for me it'd be Archie's, Donkey, and Salah.
Sachin, what is the industry buzz around Archie's? Do you know a little bit, because you're obviously like more part of that world? Like, is it considered what, a failure, a success? Like, because I feel like even though we talk about it a lot, it's also is trying to be maybe a crossover movie, right? And I don't think it's succeeded in that necessarily.
So because it's a Netflix movie, it could be a failure that's considered a success. I think for me, it was in many ways Bollywood's Barbie, because I think 5 years from now, Archie should only be looked back on as a marketing case study, because they went all out on that, and that's all great and fine. They did a great job of creating a lot of buzz and noise on the marketing front. I think a lot of people watched it. I know a lot of people who don't even watch Hindi films watched it, so it definitely made a splash. But everyone, I don't think a lot of people loved it. But also, it's the kind of the film that everyone watched and has an opinion on. So that in itself feels like a success, at least for a Netflix movie. And the other thing is because of all the nepotism, Star Kid thing, just the amount of conversation around that film is undeniable. So did Archie, if making a splash means people were talking about it, absolutely successful. If it making a splash means a movie that a lot of people liked, then no.
Sujay, what about you? Biggest disappointments?
Well, Tiger 3 comes to mind, Donkey,
Yes.
as Suchin mentioned, but also I think the first movie of the year that we saw in 2023, Kutte, the son of Vishal Bhardwaj.
Kutte, yeah.
Yeah, how could you, like, it's a taboo movie. I ended up disliking it. So Kutte is probably my pick for high expectations but low results.
Amrita?
Um, yeah, Tiger probably, because I was just expecting better things for Katrina. And I honestly, like, I think I allowed Asim to convince me that this time it was going to be different. I feel like very like Peanuts, like the Lucy with the football. I feel like that's what happened. And Asim convinced me that no, this time, like, Salman really cares and Salman will like put in the effort. And then Salman said Tenga to me, and then I took it very personally. So yeah, Tiger.
I still think the failure is not Salman though. I think it's the director of the movie. He just could not handle it. Like
Hmm.
there's like I see the problem with Tiger with the director, not with anything else. And I need to rewatch it. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
And I knew that was going to be the problem, and for me, that is still the problem. I don't think it's the stars or anything like that. It's the director. He couldn't handle it. My disappointments are Tu Jhuti Main Makar. I had high hopes for this movie. I was hoping this would be a Ye Jawani Hai Diwani kind of situation, and it just wasn't. Like my daughter keeps asking me to watch this movie, and I don't allow her. I'm like, no, like it's not. It's not a. It's not a good movie, and it doesn't have a good message to. I don't want you to, like just accept what your husband has done and become like a housewife with this joint family situation and like a big the family. Remember, like the ending of this movie is the family in the airport, like welcoming him in. Thing that she's saying throughout the movie that she does not want, and then she just acquiesces at the end. It's just a terrible, message for women. I feel like it's really disappointing.
But it
Uh,
also gave us the debut performance of the year in the form of Bonnie Kapoor.
yes, Bodhi, tu kya kar raha hai? Second biggest disappointment for me was Bawal. And again,
Good one.
I'd play the clip that how excited I was for this movie. Nitish Tiwari. I didn't know much about it and then. Like Varun Dhawan, Janvi, I am huge fans of these two. Nitish Tiwari after Dangal, I thought would have, and guys, this movie, like I think we're forgetting how big of a mess this movie was. Like it's
Yeah.
embarrassing. I feel everybody should be embarrassed about this movie. Terrible. Like how can you miss the ball like that wide? Like it's crazy. Like it's insane to me. Um, and then Tiger 3 is on here because I had hopes, I had expectations of some toot guy. But I'm hoping that I will like Jawan, revisit this movie and appreciate it slightly more. I'm hoping, let's see. But he keeps getting me back, Salman, and it's not the case. And this one I'm adding, but I don't feel it should be on the list. But Satya Prem Ki Karta is on here too because I got convinced that this was a high nana or this was like like a rom com kind of good vibes kind of thing, and it really really wasn't. Have you guys seen this movie by the way?
No.
No.
Nope.
Sachin, you haven't either?
Nope.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything that I've heard about it makes me go like, no, that's not for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's one of
This
those like,
movie
oh, it
is
was really
really
good.
sad that yeah. This movie is really sad that Kartik Aaryan cannot bang his wife, and that's like 70% of the movie. And I'm like, that's what we're going for. That's the theme.
Oh my God, that just reminded me. Like, have we not? We haven't discussed Bawal yet, right? Does Bawal
Uh,
not even like fall within like the big I don't know, the biggest failures of the year? Like it's just like even
I think you
beyond
stopped
that.
listening to me, Amrita, because I just mentioned it like
Just
3 minutes ago as the biggest
Oh,
disappointment for me.
oh, you did?
Just
Okay.
literally just now. It's fine.
I'm
It's
just
fine.
trying to like
Yes.
see us on YouTube. Sorry.
No. Yeah, no, Bawal, yeah, 100%. Like a total misfire. Yeah, I agree with you. What do we have in terms of categories left? I think we're done, right? With this, I think we're done with 2023. Like we finished it. We've got a lot like worst scenes and stuff like that. I think let's do like some post about that instead of discussing it now because I think
Yeah.
we're going quite long here.
Yeah.
Shall we? What shall we do? Shall we take 5 minutes break, or shall we? Can we do that on live? Can we take a break for 5 minutes, or no? We can't, right?
Yeah, for it. It's our show. We'll do whatever we want.
Suchin is just sitting there like, what? What
कहाँ
do you
फंस गया
mean?
मैं?
No,
What do you mean?
I'm currently looking for my movies of 2024. I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm trying to find.
Yeah.
Found it.
Shall we do that? Shall we do like 2 minutes break or
Yeah.
no? Can we do
I'll,
that?
Yeah.
I'll
And
just bring my water and
my
I'll
thing is just that I want to restart the recording so I can put echo cancellation for switching back on because it's been
Yes.
Okay.
annoying the crap out of
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
So I'm gonna stop for 5 minutes because we need a break. We're gonna have a pee break. I'm gonna make some tea. And then we're gonna do Merry Christmas and 2024. Okay?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay.
All
I'm
right.
gonna stop the recording now. Okay, guys. YouTube people, go make your tea. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Yeah.
Are we doing spoilers for Merry Christmas?
Uh, should I feel we shouldn't? No, we should. It's gonna be. This comes out the week after, so I
Yeah.
think
But
we
it's
can.
on, is this isn't part of the live stream? Like it's just Saturday.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's. I mean,
I don't think we should
that's
do
the danger
spoilers.
of joining the Khandaan live stream. You should
Yeah.
pay, like you know, one way or the other. Uh, yeah, yeah. Let's mention it before we get into it. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that might be
Yeah.
a better.
We'll do a spoiler section.
Yeah. Um, okay, so we're back. What are we doing? Oh, so I just wanted to say first, before the people that are on the live stream, thank you for joining us. The video of this will be exclusively available on Patreon. So this is now, but this won't be available later on. So if you want to watch our thopadas later on, you have to join Patreon for $1, and then you can see our pretty faces still. But what we're doing on this episode, we're going to be giving our review of Merry Christmas, Saint Katrina's movie, and then we're going to be talking about the 2024 Hindi film release calendar, and talking about the movies that we're excited about, and the movie that we think is going to be the biggest hit. So let's see. Let's get into Merry Christmas first of all. Suchin, man, you almost didn't want to talk to me about Merry Christmas at all. You seem very angry, so I want to get into this. What were your thoughts on Merry Christmas? What happened here?
Angry is a strong word, but considering everyone else is loving it, it clearly is a me thing. Like I will not, and you can't say Sri Ram is a bad filmmaker. So, but for me, that film is just a whole lot of nothing happening, and then everything happens, but the everything that happens didn't do much for me, and definitely didn't make me feel any different about the nothing that happens. It just felt like such a low energy movie to me. Even when things really click into place and he goes full Sri Ram with the crime element, etc., it didn't. I was engaged, but I was never really fully thrilled. I didn't feel the tension as much as I should. And I guess the biggest FOMO I have is everyone's talking about the chemistry and the love, and Sri Ram's made a love story, and that connection between Vijay Sethupathi and Katrina Kaif. Very cool, interesting casting, but I didn't feel that. I really didn't. I just felt it was always, the film is always interesting. There's so many things to admire, but it never really gripped me. It's one of those things where, like, beneath the surface, there's so much going on, but at any point was I truly invested? Was I feeling their connection or truly thrilled by the stakes, etc.? Not really. It came alive in moments for sure, but overall, I just walked away really feeling like clearly there's something wrong with me, but that it just didn't work for me.
Huh? Interesting, man. I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
What
Yeah,
a nice,
I think
what a nice way.
Dare you hate Katrina?
I think it might be a you thing. It might be a you thing. What can I say? Amrita, you watched it this morning, no?
I watched it this afternoon, actually, right before the live. I loved it. I really did. I'm going to be talking a few spoilers. I'm not going to talk like too much. But I did feel a little bit let down by the ending. Like that is not the ending that I would have wanted. But then I began thinking about the fact that maybe we as an audience have been trained to think that, that it would end with a happy ending, because that's the easy choice to make, right? And that's how, what's the line from Om Shanti Om, like hamari filmon mein sab kuch ant tak sab kuch theek thaak ho jata hai, kind of a thing. So I think that was my expectation going into it. And then but then from the point of view of the character, especially Vijay Sethupath's character, the character of Albert, who is his own worst enemy, and like it makes a lot of sense, like what the ending was ultimately. um there's a scene in this film where Katrina and Vijay are sitting in a Kalipili and just driving down, a road in Bombay, which is a very classic Bombay thing to do. Like Suchin lives in Bombay, I'm sure he can like tell you. Everybody has found themselves in a Kalipili in Bombay, like going down with the windows rolled down. And it is for some reason it just immediately made me think of the Amitabh Bachchan Maushmi Chatterjee song
Hmm.
Rim Jim Girisavan,
Yeah.
where they're just walking together in the monsoon in Bombay. Like that was the the sort of like callback that I got from that scene. And Katrina is just, I literally remember thinking to myself, why hasn't somebody put Katrina in the back of a Kalipili before? Because she just elevates it. It's just like the most gorgeous scene. And they don't like talk; they're just like sitting together in the back of the taxi, and it's just it's Vijay Sethupathi. I love watching him on screen. Like there's not a single moment that he is on screen that I do not want to know what he's gonna do next. Um, and he's just funny, and he is just like a very attractive man. And Katrina and he, like, I really do enjoy their chemistry. I'm really sorry for Suchin that he couldn't feel it,
So
because
am
it
I.
really, yeah, like because it honestly was like a joyful experience, and God knows we all need joy. So I'm just like really sad that Suchin didn't feel it.
I'm very
um
jealous.
yeah. And it genuinely was like one of the best uh movie romances that I've seen off late. And I totally bought it that these two people were interested in each other, and that I believe that of them in a meta level, and I believe that of them within the movie as well. And it was just yeah, it was just fun. I enjoyed it.
Sujoy, what about you? You were sitting next to me, so I kind of know, but
Yeah.
tell Amrita, Sujoy, and the live.
So I love the freaking hell out of this movie. It's like I've been thinking about it all morning, and I'm just happy that we started the year on a good way, in a good way, with a Sriram Raghavan romantic movie, which is funny as hell. There's so much fun, cracking jokes in
Yes.
this movie, and for a movie that's called Merry Christmas, it's full of Easter eggs, and yeah, I just love that Katrina got this movie. What a casting choice it was! Yeah, like I said this morning, like I would do the same things that Vijay Sethupathi did for Katrina if it was me, in that. I totally believe that anybody would do that for Katrina, and that's why I buy this. I totally buy this. I love the hell out of it. To answer Amrita's question, why didn't they end it with a happy ending? I think that would have been the Drishyam 2 story then, probably like a sequel story for, or they live in the guilt of having done this and then gotten away with it, but have they really? But here it just neatly closes the film with that
Can I ask you
story.
guys a spoiler question? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Did it not? Did it affect any of you that he was a murderer, or was that because they never showed it to us? But that's still, and it wasn't like a sympathetic murder in her case where you like
Mm.
I'm defending her murder, I'll help her on it, but his wasn't, right? And
Mm.
did that
Hmm.
affect how you guys felt about the character at all?
I think Sriram uh, like pulled a fast one on that. I think by not showing that, and I think that also is the Vijay Sethupathi trump card. I think his performance, his face, his smile, his presence. makes us believe that yes, he can murder him, someone, but also he's a nice person somehow.
Yeah,
I,
it's super interesting because we don't see him do it,
Hmm.
and because he says that he doesn't remember what happened. That's what he says. I don't remember what
Mm.
yeah,
happened next. But then they told me, and then I said yes. Like,
And
like that is
confessed
how
it.
he
Yeah.
says it. And that builds, like, that allows you to give in to your need to give him the benefit of the doubt, because up until then you really like this guy.
Mm.
You're like, oh, he's a bit of a goofball, and look at him dance, and he's such a sweetie. And so you want to believe that, like, maybe it wasn't that bad. But then you have that moment where he falls down from the taxi, and he just gets like
Yeah.
really angry, and you see that for like 1 second, and you're just like, okay. uh
Albert Pinto को गुस्सा क्यों आता है?
yeah.
that line I felt was a bit too much on the nose, to be honest. That line was the only line that did.
It's coming from Sanjay Kapoor, who is that kind of person, so that made sense
Yeah,
for me.
that's on the nose. I think it was like on one hand it was just trying to tell us that like 80s में तो सब थोड़ा थोड़ा murder कर लेते हैं, like that kind of thing, like थोड़ा सा तो सबसे हो जाता था 80s में. But I think the movie itself is like, it's the stories we tell each other and the stories we tell to ourselves. And I think the kind of the mirror was, we never know what Jerome did to Annie, the daughter. And Katrina says that a lot of times. I will never forgive him for it. What he did to her, and you never actually see, or the only image we have is Annie's doll that's broken and like there's blood everywhere. I don't know in what way she was hurt, as a little child, that she went through such a trauma that she stopped talking. And that mirrored with Vijay Sethupathi, that he's unable to talk about what happened because he just doesn't remember. So I think that was kind of that, and it's that world that Sriram creates, which is kind of pulpy, a thriller, but also like a romantic love track in the 80s. And I think it also has that, one night it happened, like kind of vibes in it. And I think when you create that mishmash, it didn't matter to me that much that Situpati, okay, sure, Thora murder to ho jata, And I also just was still blown away by Radhika Apte showing up. Like, I did not see that coming. I did not know. I was like, what? She's in this too? This is so awesome. And he's making dosa for her. What's his technique like? That's the cooking. Like, uski technique kaisi hai, meri kaisi, that kind of thing. Katrina is my Bitcoin, yaar. Like, I'm the kind of bro that was on this, like, 15 years ago, and now everybody's catching up and, like, maybe invest karna chahiye tha, I'm so happy, man. I like, she's so radiant in this movie. Like that Khali Biri scene that you're talking about, like her hair. Like, it's just so beautiful. Like, the way, and there's nothing, it's just framing, right? The way he frames her face. I don't know why nobody else has done that. Like, people have been doing this with her abs and her, her curves and her legs and whatever, but just stay on her face, and that's what it needed, right? And I just feel it's so pretty the way it's done, but it's also so pretty in the character that Sri Ram has created, right? Like, okay, again, this is a theme. I'm slightly older, so I'm gonna say this. Like, I find women that have gone through things slightly more attractive than very, very young girls. Like moms, or like women that, like, when a mom has a kid, she's carried him, so the kid's weight grows and the muscles need to grow on the hands. So you can see in the forearms of a woman if she has carried a baby or not. If it's very dainty, thin arms, she's a girl. And Katrina has that kind of thing where she's not a mom herself. So at the beginning, where she's in the restaurant with the Annie character, this vibe, like, that Katrina used to have around kids. So, like, I don't want to be around kids, Karina, sorry, she had that vibe a lot, like, this is not my vibe. But she has lived a life, and I think the character has lived a life, and I think that's what's shown in Maria's character, and I think it's just amazing, the letting her just be loose. When have we seen Katrina dance without any choreography. It's literally never happened before. Me and Sujoy were laughing. She's incapable of badly dancing, even when she has to badly dance. And Vijay Sethupathi seems to be unable to dance well, even if he's supposed to badly. Like it's such a, and it works. It's such a joyous moment that they
The
have
dance
together.
scene was delightful.
Yeah, and like the dress she's wearing and the kind of how she's shaking that glass because she has a plan, and it's a bit too much the way she's doing it, but she's a bit nervous, and there's all of these little things I think. And then at the end of the movie, me and Sujoy basically were just like gasping and guffawing at the audacity of those last 20 minutes, the tension that it builds up and the release it gives us. For me, it was just amazing. I just totally fell in love with this movie. It was kind of like floating on a 4 on 5 in my letterbox rating, and then that ending where he puts the ring on her, and the meaning of that ring, letting go, more than and her letting him put it on her finger. It had so much meaning, and it had so much of that tragic love that people in the 80s are constantly talking about and now listening
Yeah.
to ghazals and stuff like that because of that. I just thought it had all of that, and that's why I love the movie. I think, like Sujo said, it's such a good start of the year for me. I've been catching up with a lot of older movies from last year and stuff like that, and then I just went crazy watching like 80s movies, and getting into 2024 with Merry Christmas. And it's also a very nice January movie. You know what I mean? Like January is that month where not the big releases used to come. At least Pathan has changed that formula a little bit, but kind of like slept under movies. And it's kind of that slept under movie that is delivering more. I'm just sad that it didn't for you, Suchin.
I'm genuinely jealous of all of you, but I'm so glad you guys like it.
I completely forgot what I was going to say. Sorry.
Bitcoin?
Oh, I watched this with a play director friend of mine, and she was not impressed with the costume department. She kept saying, like, the if this was supposed to be a time period before the 2000s, then the hair was wrong,
Yes.
and the shoes were wrong, like all of those things.
I agree.
Yeah, and
more with Vijay Sethupathi, I felt, than with Katrina. I don't think you could get that curly hair, that Katrina waviness she has in the 80s, but like Vijay Sethupathi just looked like he came out of the cab and he was in the 80s or something like that. That fit did not work in terms of it. I agree.
do you think the Tamil version will be significantly different?
I saw a couple of tweets saying that the Tamil version was much better. I think his role. Apparently, they shot it in both languages. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I do think his role really requires a mastery of language, which obviously Hindi is not his first language. And I feel like I watched that film and I was like, I would love to watch the Tamil version of this just to see what he does with it. And a couple of people have literally said that they chose to watch the Tamil version, and it's actually much better.
Oh, maybe I'll watch it in Tamil as well then.
Me too.
I just love accents though. Like I love Vijay Sethupath's Hindi. Like it has that, like that accent, and the way he kind of like the rhythm is a bit off, and the rhythm of the movie is slightly off, and I think that gelled really well. But I want to see Katrina speak Tamil because that I have not done yet. So that's going to be exciting. Do you sometimes feel that though that when we're watching a movie that it's not in your language, we give it more grace. We give it kind of like a more positive rating because we don't necessarily get all the nuances and things like that. Like I was watching Lady Vengeance the other day. Sorry, Suja, who's the director? Park Chan-wook, right? Yeah. I hadn't seen that one, or I thought I hadn't seen her, so I was watching it on movie. And like there's a character who has a very odd haircut, And I was like, I don't know what that haircut means. Like when Paresh Rawal comes in a certain dress, they never explain it in a movie, but we understand what that dress means, right? But when I'm watching a Korean movie, I don't get what the implication of that weird haircut is. And I was wondering, like, do we do that when, it's a language you don't speak? So the people that said that the Tamil version is better, were they Hindi speakers or Tamil speakers?
I don't actually know. I mean, I just saw it on Twitter. I think one of them was a Hindi speaker, which I found very interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a very good point. I could also argue that if you watch a film in a different language and you don't get the nuances and you still love it,
Yeah.
even if you're watching it at 80% of what it is, and you still love it based on that 80%, I mean, that's also a different kind of triumph.
Yeah. No, both. Yeah, that's true. That's true too. So, what do you think, Suchin? Do you think it's like because you get hearing so many positives about it, you didn't have that feeling? Is it you thinking I should rewatch it like in a 6, 7? It's going to come out on Netflix, right? I saw the big logo flash.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I will, but I would love to rewatch it because I don't know. I mean, there clearly is so much in this film that I didn't feel, and I want to. I really want to feel that love. I really want to feel that unlikely connection because it seems to do the thriller stuff really well, which I did enjoy, and it does, and the tension stuff, even though I didn't feel it quite to that extent, and it clearly seems to do this unlikely love story and chemistry and connection well, and I do. It really does make me want to revisit it. Also, putting my experience aside, I think it is a kind of film you would actually appreciate in a very different way on second viewing. Once you know what the jig is, I imagine your second viewing would be
More
a lot
rewarding, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to get a little spoilery to one more thing I want to mention, like that whole idea of how the murder is planned is so insane. Like it
Yeah.
is so
I
bloody
did not
bonkers.
see that coming.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the source material?
No.
It's apparently either a book or a movie called Le Montage.
I think it's a
It's
book,
like,
no?
is it a book? I don't know.
I thought
Like
it's a book.
I don't know, but it's in French and it's called Le Montage. Like I don't know what it is.
I've not heard of it. No,
Okay.
no, I hadn't. Yeah, it's just that like I think if we start pulling the threads out, like how can that be? It wouldn't stand up to that kind of scrutiny, right? But like I think in the idea of it, I think it kind of works in terms of creating these two separate realities. No, I just thought it was I had a really, and also just the reveal of the Santa thing, right? With the whole
Yeah.
the caged bird kind of thing. Again,
That's
the
what I
caged bird.
mean. Like, Albert is his own worst enemy. Like, he just sets himself up for failure every single time. And the weird thing was, like, I knew that about him within, like, I think the first 10 minutes. And I was actually trying to think why I knew that about him. What was it that what information did Sriram give me through the narrative that allowed me to build that bridge and know that about this character? And I want to watch the movie again to like actually know what that was. God, he's just such a good, clever filmmaker. I love it. Like I absolutely love
So
it.
somebody tweeted yesterday, or was it a letterbox review? I think. So they said, Sriram Raghavan reminds me of those guys who, in their teens, read a lot of crime novels, and I'm thankful for it. Yeah, this movie, like we watched it on Friday night, obviously prime time, just the beginning of the weekend, and it was a packed house of audience in London for a Vijay Sethupathi, Katrina, Sriram Raghavan movie.
I was going to say, I really hope it makes money. I mean, regardless of what I
Yeah.
thought, we need, I mean, something that isn't big in spy universe and whatever. I really hope it makes money. We need.
But like Andhadhun made a lot of money in China, like a lot more than the Indian box office.
But that's the problem, right? Like, if Andhadhun released today, would it make money? That's the problem. Like, so many films of the last 10 years, a lot of Ayushmann Khurrana films, which are like Badai stuff, the stuff that we loved, the sleeper hits, the smaller films, which weren't about big stars or big action or whatever, that became the best films of the year. If they released today, I suspect that they would do something, but would they do? So you want to know that there's space for all kinds of movies and not just whatever spy is kicking whoever's ass that week.
It seems to be. I found Le Monde Charge on IMDb. It is a movie that came out in 1962, starring Robert Hussein and Léa Massari. Director is Marcel Blual, and it seems actually to be a remake. Pretty much, the plot seems exactly the same thing. So it's not a movie I've heard of, but I'd be keen to seek it out. Actually, I'm quite interested to see what the similarities are. Yeah, okay. So that's for Merry Christmas. Let's get into our preview of 2024. So what we're doing here is we're going to go through the list of Hindi films in 2024 on Wikipedia. I think that's the most accurate that we can find, and then just go through the things that we're excited about, that we are worth discussing, and then at the end we can also talk about anything that we missed out on. Okay, so in January, I'll just go through all of them. So, Merry Christmas, we already had. We still have Main Atal Hu, which Pankaj Tripathi, Dashmi, and then Fighter, which is probably the big one. I was tweeting about this like a couple of days ago. Fighter, just something seems off to me. Have they not started the promotion? Are they done with the promotion? I know that the trailer hasn't dropped. I think it's going to drop in 2 days' time. So maybe they were
I think
waiting.
I think Sid is basically following the SRK method of film promotion, the new and improved SRK method of film promotion, which is basically no film promotion. But I don't know if Ritik and Deepika are the people to pull that off. It'll be
Yeah.
interesting. Let's see if that actually works for them.
Suchin, man, I feel you should be excited for Fighter. I don't know. It seems to
I
be.
agree with
Is
you.
it your vibe?
I should be excited, but that is the right term. I think so far I'm not, like, in the sense that I'm not excited for it, but I'm in especially after Tiger, anything with said Anand, I'm looking forward to. I really think he has. I also wanted to see if Pathan was an exception. I really think he does something very specific and fun about mixing the Hollywood sensibility with the sort of Bollywood sort of star thing. So I'm really looking forward to just his next film. I'm looking forward to like Ritik just be a slow motion bastard again, just eat the screen up, because we haven't seen that in a while. I mean, since War. So I'm looking forward to that. I think again the buzz has been a little cold, so I guess it's like, let's see the film and see if it really ignites anything. I don't know if the trailer will do anything. The big fear I have with this one is it's one of 6 Indian Top Guns coming out in the next 1 year. There's a bunch of
Really?
them. Yeah, everyone's just making Top Gun. I mean, Kangana sort of was the first with hers. There's this. There's a Telugu film coming out this month. Akshay Kumar is making one. So everyone's making a fighter pilot
Kangna
film.
is the YouTube commenter who just comments first.
Literally that. I'm worried about the CGI because to really nail the whole sort of fighter pilot thing, it's a lot of CGI stuff. So, and Sid Anand is the right person to execute that stuff. So that's one thing that worries me a bit. And like I hope it isn't sort of tacky or anything. But yes, I look forward to watching it, but I'm not sitting here dying of excitement.
So
Yeah.
I've seen the Wikipedia post on Fighter, and the VFX of this movie is done by a London-based company called DNEG, who's worked on Blade Runner and stuff. So
DNEG does a lot of Hindi films. They did Brahmastra. They've done a bunch of Hindi films. Yeah.
Yeah, I personally I don't care about jets. Like it's like a mode of transportation I don't give a damn about. So I don't know. I don't know what. The teaser I wasn't so excited for Sher Khul Gaye, and like there's been 2-3 other songs that have dropped since then, and none of them like, have you guys even seen Heer Asmani? There was a literal song dropped, and we've not talked about it at all. Like. There seems to be no Instagram reels, no excitement. The dance steps haven't taken off. Like something seems very off about this movie.
but it's a good thing so far if the movie over delivers on this under the tepid expectations that we have from the trailer so far, right?
I feel like that's been the Hrithik Roshan way for the past few years. Like nobody expects much of Hrithik's movies, and then he goes and delivers War. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that the chatter around Fighter is kind of cold.
Yeah,
Um,
let's hopefully the film changes that.
yeah,
We're gonna go watch it anyway, right? So
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
February.
What we have in February, we have Section 108 with Nawazuddin, Teri Baaton Mein with Shahid Kapoor. Oh yeah, that's that.
That's not the full title. I'm sorry. The full title
तेरी
is like 8
बातों में
lines.
ऐसा उलझा जिया.
Boom.
Yeah. Shahid Kapoor, Kriti Sanon. So this promotion for this has already started. The new track dropped like a couple of days ago. Shahid is dancing again. We have the Surarai Potru
Remake,
with Akshay
I
Kumar. Oh
feel
yeah.
like
Uh-huh.
that's unlikely because if that really was coming out in Feb, we would have heard about it. No, I mean, we would have seen something, right? That's
Would
a
we?
big film.
I don't know.
Would
Akshay
we?
might be working 16-hour shifts. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Maybe they're doing the 2 week promotion thing like Amita said. So I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah.
We've got LSD 2 maybe. Dibakar
Yeah.
Banerjee, Operation
Yeah.
Valentine. I don't know what this is. Mere Mehboob Mere Sanam, Vicky Kaushal, and Tripti Dimri. Wow. And then we have the movie I'm most excited about in February, Crack, starring Vijay Jamal and Noora Fateh.
Uh,
Guys, I'm
the
serious. I'm serious. I'm not even like being. You know me. You
yeah.
know I'm excited about this movie, right?
Asim
Him.
is one number Vidyut Jamwal fanboy, and by one number I mean that he's also the top fanboy and the only
No, no.
fanboy.
I think it's Asim and Vidyut's mom. The only two fans there.
Oh
What
God.
more does the guy need to do, right? Like,
Or
he's been
can
butt naked in fucking Himalayas and
Yeah,
cooking
you guys are
Maggi.
pro nepotism with your Tiger Shroff. I'm on the video Jamal train. That's what's
Why
happening
are
here.
those the two options? Jump off that train.
Guys, this movie has
Oh,
Nora
the
Fatehi and Arjun Rampal. Like, come on. And Amy
so
Jackson.
like
Amy Jackson.
going to what Suchin was saying about like why is like Tiger Shroff and Vidya Jamal are only two choices. Dhairya, whatever his name is, like is it him in Kill?
Yeah, that's
Is
the
he
film.
he's a
That is the
yeah.
film. That's the one
That
I'm
is the
excited
film
for.
that I'm looking forward to because the buzz around that is insane.
Yeah.
And I'm just like really looking forward to
It's
it.
already broken some really strange records. I don't know all of it, but so it's supposed to be very John Wick style, hyper violent Hindi
Mhm.
film. But like apparently it's done action and like sort of extreme violence, like a very Hollywood aesthetic, which we've never seen. Also, I've never seen this before, where a big film from a Dharma banner has made waves at a festival. We're all desperate to see it, but we don't know when they're releasing it, and they've pre-sold a bunch of the release rights in Europe, and it's apparently like like that's never happened with a Hindi
Yeah,
Wild.
film
so
before.
the
Like
US
there's been
and
a
the
lot of international buzz.
US and UK release have been bought by Lionsgate, and
Yeah,
so that'd be interesting that this gets the push that it requires as a genre movie for the action buffs, and I guess like Fright Fest and all that stuff would be
which is rare
nice.
for a Hindi film to
Yeah,
get that level of
absolutely.
buzz. So
Especially
yeah,
you wouldn't like associate Dharma Productions with this kind of movie, which is interesting.
yeah.
Because you guys don't believe in Karan Johar like I do, man. That's why.
It's
Uh,
just different because it's them and Sikya, and it's just very different. And
yeah.
I have no reference point for a fairly big Hindi film that debuts at a festival that doesn't immediately release,
Mm.
that like makes waves,
Yeah.
and we all want to see it, but we can't. Like that's just nuts, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, fingers crossed.
Somebody on Patreon, I think Eric commented, why have they not built on the RRR buzz in the West yet? And I think this might be the movie that does it. It
Yeah.
seems to have all of the elements where Adi Purush failed, obviously, but because they were trying to. But I think this
But there's
maybe
only
this will.
there's only two ways you build on the RRR buzz, right? Either Rajamouli signs a Hollywood film, which I sort of thought would happen, or you follow it up with another great Indian film that they love.
Yeah.
And we haven't had that yet, but let's see.
Yeah.
Mm.
Are you guys excited to see Shahid dance again on screen with Kriti Sanon?
Sure.
But that's a
I'm
song.
I'm
That's not a
more
movie.
yeah, I'm more excited for Love, Sex or Dhoka too.
Yeah.
Dipakar Banerjee movie is always something that I totally vibe with.
I'm also like really looking forward to the Vicky Kaushal Triti Dimri one because I love both of them and
Yeah.
I want to see like what they do together.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. LSD, I'm like, do I want to feel depressed? Like, there's nothing of his movies that ever brings me joy. And I just like, I'm just wondering if I can just take it again after 2023 to have again I did really appreciate his interview with Samdish, very long one that he did.
Mhm.
That was really cool because he let go a little bit of his demons. And I thought that was quite cool. Yes. So, next month in March, we have Lapata Ladies, which we actually mentioned last year too in March. and
I
it
want to
never
watch
released.
that.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
watch that. I really
Now-
want to watch that.
Now I've seen the trailer. There's a Vikas Bal movie that's untitled with Ajay Devgan and Madhavan and Jyotika. This I don't know. Yodha, which we also discussed last year, didn't come out, so it's probably ready and waiting. The
Which one?
Crew with
Sorry, Yoda, I
Yodha.
get confused. there's the Siddhant Chaturvedi action film, and there's the Siddharth Malhotra one. Which one is this?
This is the Siddharth
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 Malhotra.
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 Oh yeah, we're not
Yeah.
interested in this. Carry on.
Disha Patni and Rashi Khanna. And then the crew with Tabu Karina, Kriti Sanan, Diljit Dosanjh, and then I don't know how to pronounce his Munjia. I don't know what this is. Abhay Verma. Yeah. What's the Lapita Ladies? Obviously, I think probably we're
And
excited
also
for
the
that one.
crew. I
Yeah,
want to
the
see the
crew.
crew.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Tabu and Karina, sure, sign me up.
Yeah. Although still pissed that we didn't get G Zara instead, right? That was what we were supposed to get, right? It's not gonna happen, right? It's never gonna happen again. What do you think, Suchin? The crew, Lapata Ladies. Have you heard buzz about those two?
Yeah, so both of those. I mean, Labda Ladies, we actually have a teaser, which is nice. That's Kiran Rao, right? And I
Yeah.
just want to
Yes.
like, she hasn't made a film in a while. Absolutely signed up to that. I really like the main guy in that. He's from the Netflix show Jamtara, very very talented guy. And yeah, the crew. I have a Viredi wedding sort of shaped hole in my
Yeah.
heart. I just miss the female buddy film. It really is a genre that we just. I mean, thanks for coming, tried, but I mean, they're just so wonderful when done right, and they're done right so rarely. And I hope this hits that spot.
Have you seen Suki?
I have not.
I mean, if you miss that vibe and you want like a not as good version of it, Suki, because Shilpa Shetty is really fun and I like her, and it has one of the worst CGI scenes that you can ever watch. Like,
You're not selling this well.
No, if if you have that, you're missing that vibe. I think
Yeah.
that is kind of has a bit of.
Do
that.
you
So-
love something, Suchin? Well, Asim has a crap version of it that he would like you to watch.
Let me rephrase. I miss that vibe, but explode through a good movie.
Okay, then no. Suchin, don't watch Suki then. Okay, then we're in April. Again, now the calendar already is all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure there's a lot
Can
of
I
these
just
things
mention
are
one
not-
thing in Jan that you missed, which I think really
Yeah.
needs to be talked about for all the wrong reasons?
Yes.
The Rohit Shetty Amazon show, because Rohit Shetty made a show.
Yes.
The cop show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Indian Police Force.
Watch the round table on your channel, guys.
Oh yeah, there's that. No, I just find it interesting because it's to me the nicest way I can put it is it's an experiment to see if you can make the big screen spectacle movie into a series. Also, if you're making a show, you need to have craft. You need to be a storyteller. You can't get away with explosions, right? There has to be a thing. And I'm just very curious to see how that plays out.
The CGI looks so bad on in the trailer, at least, of that. I watched the whole thing. I thought what do you call it? Is it Adda or is it? I don't know what it's
The
called.
front row, yeah.
Yeah. It was amazing because I realized I like hearing Rohit Shetty talk about movies more than I enjoy watching his movies.
Agreed.
And I think he's just a great guest. And I thought, like with Shilpa Shetty, I even enjoyed Vivek Oberoi, which hasn't happened since Prince. It's Showtime. Like it's been a while. So yeah, I thought that it was a really like. Watch that episode. I don't even know if the series is going to be that good, but I really appreciated that front row. Right, that's what it's called. Yeah, because I really every time, even in Coffee with Karan, he was talking like when Rohit Shetty is talking about movies, you know how capable he is, and I just don't see it enough in his movies. Like even like him saying, "I love action movies. I make these big scale action movies," but they kind of always look cheap and like I don't know, like it's weird, like this disconnect, right? So yeah, I'm gonna probably watch it. I also watch his trailers, and then I just hold my breath until the Islamophobia comes in, and I think it comes in at like second 47 or something like that. So we're the bad guys again in this one too, it seems. So, but yeah, I'll watch it for Shilpa Shetty walking in a sea. Apparently that's
Sorry,
If you
you're
have-
on April.
yeah. And then we have Bade Mian Chote Mian, Mr. and Mrs. Mahi, Tehran, which is John Abraham, Manushi Chillar, Neeru Bajwa.
What did you call her?
Manushi Chillar? Is that not how you call her? Chillar?
No,
How do you pronounce it?
the Manushi is like where I got the Asim vibes.
Manushi. Is that not?
Yeah.
Manushi. I don't know, yeah. Guys, you have to realize a lot of times I read the name, I've never heard this name in my life, and more than I've never pronounced these words in my life. Like I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just guessing here. So, yeah.
Uh,
Anyway,
And औरों में कहा दम था from Neeraj Pandey with Ajay Devgan, Tabu, and Jimmy Shekhar. Wow, that's quite good. I think Mr. and Mrs. Mahi with Rajkumar Rao and Janvi was supposed to come out last year too, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think of those? Like, excited?
no.
I mean, Ali Abbas Zafar making Bade Mia Chote Mia with Akshay and Tiger Shroff should be big news, but post like what did Ali Abbas suffer? Bloody Daddy.
Bloody
I don't
Daddy, yeah.
know. Yeah, I
That was
don't know.
disappointing. Yeah, that was.
Although I
yeah.
find it just like 4% curious that Tiger has this rule that Tiger will never do a film unless he is the film. The only time he's ever broken his rule was for War because it was Hrithik, and Hrithik is like
His God.
his
Yeah.
inspiration. And also, I think Tiger also he has this weird rule: he'll never do a film unless he's the first person to be offered the script. Like if it comes from somebody else. And in this case, it's just odd that he's deciding to do another 2
Can
years
I,
film.
can I just say, with these rules, the career he has had is odd. Like, that's what the odd part is. Like, he has rules how he's making these movies, and then it's still making Ganpat. Yeah, no, I agree with like Aliyah Abbas Zafar. I watch anything he does. Like, I just do not understand why this has to be a Bade Mia Chote Mia remake sequel. Like, why did they just not make something original? Like, I don't like. I remember the old one, and which was like kind of a Bad Boys ripoff, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah,
I don't think it's a direct remake. I think they're jazzing it up and making it more of an actioner.
yeah.
But yeah, sure, whatever.
That's
Neeraj
my
Pandey
reaction
with
exactly. Just
Yeah.
cool.
Neeraj
Yeah.
Pandey with Ajay Devgan, a combination we have not seen yet.
Okay.
I used to love Neeraj Pandey, but then he made a bunch of very average shows. Like it's like one of those filmmakers where you're like they make something good, you get excited, and then it's like, will the real Neeraj Pandey please stand up? It's like when Johnny Abraham produced some good films, and you're like, and then he didn't. So yeah, I mean, Baby was excellent, and ever since then he's just made stuff. So yeah,
Because what did he do on streaming that was
he's
average?
made Special Ops on Hotstar, Khaki on Netflix. So he has
And
a
Freelancer.
freelancer, yeah. So he has a mini like universe of stuff.
Khaki was
Mini
good. I
universe of
like
stuff.
Khaki.
It was fine.
Anyway, let's go on to May.
May has a Kalki 2898 AD, Sri. Those are the two that are only announced here at the moment.
That's 3-2, right? No.
I don't know.
Sri.
Just
Not
Sri. This is with
not Sri.
Rajkumar Rao. Sri.
Sri.
SRI. With
SRI.
Rajkumar Rao, Jyotika, and Alia F. Directed by Tushar Hiranandani.
Yeah.
Never heard of this.
Cool.
Kalki, anybody still
Yeah.
have hope for Prabhas? You still do?
Not for Prabhas, but like if Deepika is also in it, like I kind of trust her picker. So
Oh, Kamal
I'm
Hassan is in
hoping
it
for
too.
good
Okay.
things.
And Amitabh, I think,
What?
no?
Yeah. Nag Ashwin as a director. Have you guys seen his work? I've not seen any.
Yeah, he did Manati, no?
Yeah, he did.
I think any big Indian film that wants to really take a swing, this is doing the whole sci-fi thing, and we have all these dead genres we can't touch. So this is just taking a big swing, and I'm always curious to see what they'll do with it. Will it land? Can they really expand? Like, can they really do the sci-fi thing and really open that world? Because we're not allowed to make sci-fi films. So yeah, just for that, I'm curious.
Yeah, it's made of like 600 crores or something is the budget, and it's just nuts. And
That's
like
400 crores too much.
yeah, and then we're getting Dune Part 2 in March. So this movie has a big disadvantage for people who already watch those kind of movies.
June, we just have one here. It's called Chandu Champion with Kabir Khan directing and Kartik
Kartik Aaryan.
Aaryan starting. I think this is a war movie. I think I've seen a poster of this. I have
Is it a
absolutely
war
no
movie? Because I
interest
saw
in this
something
whatsoever.
recently that made it look like a boxing movie, and I was like, "What is he a champion of? Just what?
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh, maybe he's a boxer that becomes a soldier and then
Or
like
a
has a
soldier
flag.
becomes a
And
boxer? Either way,
Yeah.
cool."
Yeah. Weird, know that we have no interest in a Kabir Khan movie anymore.
Yeah, very weird. But I'm sure, like closer to the time you see a trailer promo like Kabir Khan, I will blindly jump on that train. But
Am I imagining things, or did Salman announce a movie with Kabir Khan again?
Salman hasn't announced anything, I think.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah,
Like
which
they
is
haven't even
no for 2024. I barely see anything for Khandaan representation.
Yeah. No, none of the Khans are having anything out. No.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
Shah Rukh is shooting, right? He's got the Sujoy film with Suhana, and
Yeah.
he's got Spy Universe. But yeah, nothing that's.
He mentioned something about like shooting for a film in March where he is going to be playing his age, and I don't know what that, but he's going to be the main protagonist, is what he said. Which so it can't be the Suhana film. So I don't know what that project is.
No, there's also rumors of Vishal Bhardwaj from talks for. So yeah, he's clearly figuring out his next slate. The closest person you probably have a release is probably Amir, because it's been a while. But I've heard for him, there's the is it Campions remake, whatever it's called. Then somebody said there's a movie called Sitare Zameen Par. I don't know
Sitare
if that-
Zameen Par,
Yeah.
Is that the same remake, or is that like different?
I have no clue.
No
I
clue.
have no
Fair
clue.
enough.
Yeah. I thought also he wasn't starring in the Champions remake. It was going to be Salman Khan, and then he said no, and then like I don't know what's going on here anymore. So
Let's see.
July has nothing here on the thing. We have August, which has Singham again and Sri 2, where I think Singham again, he's coming to Pakistan and Ghar mein aake marega. I think that's the plan for Singham again, I think. Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it. I've seen the Singham. Like the first Singham is still probably the best Rohit Shetty movie he's made, like for me at least. Yeah, I don't know. Get ready for some haterade, I guess.
No, but first of all, I'm going to steal the term haterade because that's insane. But the only cool thing about Singham is like everyone under the sun is in that movie, right? Everyone is Karina's in it, Deepika's in it. Like everyone is just that cast.
When is the Lady Singer movie coming?
It's gonna
Isn't that this
spin
year?
off after these, so that he's introducing them here, and then they get like Tiger gets a movie, Deepika gets a movie, and it's kind of like their first appearance, and then they're gonna like do other things. I think that's because I saw the front row, so I know this. That's the plan. Sri 2. Anybody excited for this? It's the same cast, no or not?
I am only because I liked Sri. I mean everyone really liked it, but it was fine, great. I loved Bhedia. I really have a very soft corner for that.
Still haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's I mean just what it did for like as a superhero film, as a fantasy film, as a monster movie, all within the Hindi cinema. Like it really worked. It was a really good horror comedy. Like it really delivered on every front. It takes some very impressive big swings. Like the last 15 minutes of that movie is all CGI, and it's very interesting. And spoiler, I mean it's not really a spoiler. You find out at the end that it's part of this 3 universe.
Yeah.
And just for that, just for bringing all these guys together,
Yeah.
I can't wait. Also, it was a genuinely very cool surprise at the end of Pedia because nobody like put that together that it was part of the same universe. So that's the cinematic universe I'd put my money on.
And the concept behind those movies, like which was only revealed at the end of Bhedia, when you realize that these stories are interconnected. Like I really like that concept of it being like about the supernatural from like different parts of the country, and like like the way that these supernatural stories are very much a part of the local culture, and like the ties to the environment and all that kind of stuff. Like I was not expecting any of that when I walked into Bhedia, so it was a very welcome surprise. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I am also like Suchin looking forward to 3 too.
I'm hoping also like Varun Dhawan can make like a bit of a comeback. I remember when I interviewed him from Dilwale, and one of the things I told him was like, dude, you're planning your career so well. You did Andhadhun and stuff like that.
Asim is the jinx. Asim went in there and like.
So let me tell you the full story. He said like he's super friendly. He hugged me and stuff like that. We have some history. I can tell this on another episode one time. But he said, are you going to watch Dilwale? And I said, no, I'm going to go watch Star Wars. Like, that was my idea. I think The Force Awakens was coming out. And he's like, dude, go watch Dilwale. You'll really enjoy it. And that's the curse. He should not have lied to me. And jo bhi hai, it's because of that lie. Everything has happened since then because of that. You should not lie to me, man. It comes back and bites you.
You,
But
you,
we'll tell him next time I see him.
yeah.
In terms of working with good directors and making random films, he seems to have a literal like he will go through a very commercial phase and make like very average stuff. Then he pivots to working with sort of then he does Abheria, and then he'll do an October, which gives you hope. Then obviously whatever Baval was, now he's doing that Atlee film, which sounds like a commercial film. So he really just feels like he yo-yos, which I'm still at least there is an up and down. You know, there is still something to look forward to at some point.
But something should connect, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, if even either commercially or critically, and I think with both with Bhedia and with Bawal, neither of those clicked, right? So
Yeah.
if you're just missing the shot every time, it's kind of hard to root for you after a while, right?
Bhedia, by the way, I don't know why it was so criminally under discussed, and
Yeah.
like nothing worked for that film for some reason, because it also had some of the best music. But like
I
nobody,
think so
Yeah.
music.
yeah, like nobody
The
spoke
Apna
about
Banale
it.
song got really big, like on TikTok for a while. Like
Uh-huh.
there was a remix of it. People were
No, but there
loving
were
it,
like a
and
whole bunch of other songs that were like really good in that film.
Mm.
But I don't know, none of it worked.
in September, we have Metro in Dino, the new Anurag Basu movie with tons of people, and Jigra with Vasant Bala directing Vedan Raina and Alia Bhatt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Uh,
watch that.
yeah, I
I'm
think
I'm I'm
Metro.
excited for Anurag Basu's Metro sequel as well.
I think it got delayed. I think there was a message like just a
It did
couple
get
of
delayed.
days.
Yeah,
It got
I was just
delayed.
checking. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, tons of people in that one. Aditya Roy Kapoor, Sara Ali Khan, Anupam Kher, Neena Gupta, Pankaj Tripathi, Konkana Sen Sharma, Ali Fazal, Fatima Sana Sheikh. And yeah, I think a lot of those would want to
Can
have
I
a hit.
just say, like, the shine is off Fatima Sana Sheikh for me ever since I watched Sam Bahadur. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it was already on thin ice after I watched Dhak Dhak, but
Hmm.
then after I watched Sam Bahadur, it's just unbearable. Like, I cannot, like, I take it back. Like, I thought she was a really good actress, but like, I don't think so now. Like, it's
Hmm.
just
I think
no.
of the Dangal girls, Sanya Malhotra is definitely flourishing more than her.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And Jigra looks fun, right? Vedan Raina, Alia Bhatt. That's
Yeah.
not animated, is it?
No, I think it's a big action film. Vasan Bala getting a big film is excellent. Alia doing an action film is excellent, and I feel like it'll be a true blue action film. It won't be like another sort of mainstream masala thing. It'll be, and we need that, right? We really need Bollywood to like do genres like Abheria. You want to do something specific and stand out and be distinctive and different. So I hope that that's what that is.
Wasn't
You
there a
know,
Sonakshi movie called Akira or something which tried doing that?
Let's talk about that.
in October, we have Skyforce. I think that's the jet movie with Akshay Kumar you were talking about
Right.
earlier. Deva, which is Shahid Kapoor, Pooja Hegde.
That's Shahid
Badass
Kapoor's movie with I think the filmmaker from either Kannada or Telugu cinema again. Yeah, so
Roshan
more of that.
Andrews is the name.
Malayalam cinema.
Malayalam cinema, sorry.
And then Badass Ravi Kumar starring Himish Reshamia. Suchoy's favorite.
I'm gonna go to this movie high.
You come out low. You go in high, you come out low.
Like this movie deflated me.
Yeah. Akshay needs a hit too, no? Like it's not really worked
He
out. The last
desperately
few
needs
years,
one.
Yeah, yeah. Everything's been kind of wrong, and he's been trying his same formula of doing kind of like massy film and then action film. And
He's got Welcome to the Jungle this year, no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll get it. Yeah.
December, I think.
Directed by Ahmed Khan.
Nothing but the champion.
We need and deserve good comedy, and just Hindi cinema's definition of it is just
November we have Bhool Bhulaiya 3, bringing
What?
back Anees Bazmi, Kartik Aaryan. I'm not sure if that is happening, but should probably, right? It was such a
Okay.
big hit. And then Raid 2 with Rajkumar Gupta, Ajay Devgan.
Who's the Rajkumar Gupta?
He
made,
directed,
I think he made Raid. I think.
and,
he
and
also killed No One Killed Jessica.
Jessica,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Excited for either of those?
I haven't seen Raid, so
Raid is
The only
good.
Aj-
Raid is good.
the only Ajay Devgan film I'm excited for is Maidan, but it keeps disappearing of calendars, so
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what's happening with
It's
that
not.
film.
It's not even on this. Like, it's not even
Yeah,
on this calendar.
I think it'll probably end up on streaming, I sense.
Yeah.
मैदान छोड़ के भाग गया.
And
Anyway,
then December we have two, and the last two that is on this calendar is one is Chava, which is Vicky Kaushal and Rashmika
Mandana.
Mandana. I don't know, Maddock movie, so you kind of get the vibe of what is going to be. And then what we just mentioned, Welcome to the Jungle. Um, isn't it
Honest.
odd? Like a year, like they announced a movie and then it's still like an Akshay movie that they announced so early and then it only coming out in December, not like in 3 days. You know, like it feels like
Well,
a very. What are they doing?
Welcome is a bit of a cult movie. Like it
Mm.
really has like a huge following. Like I was about to ask Suchin if he's one of those people.
I'm a fan of it. I'm not part of the welcome cult, but yes, it is one of those insanely quotable. People can't get enough things, which I still feel find very cool and very sad because I assume they're trying to capitalize on that audience by making what I imagine will be like a big action comedy with a massive cast, and
Hmm.
yeah, you just imagine it'll be a diluted, bigger version of that. But no,
What was
yeah,
what was
that is very.
Welcome to? I don't even know what Welcome to was.
There was no welcome to. This is welcome
Oh,
to.
This is Welcome
oh,
to.
this is Welcome to. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I was good, confused. Okay, any others that we missed out? I think there's like Indian two is coming out, right? Like
Kamal
not
Hassan.
non-Hindi then.
Yeah.
What else is like coming out that's
Well,
interesting?
we mentioned Kill.
Kill, yeah.
Then there is, I think, Chamkila with Diljit Dosanjh, directed by
Yeah.
Imtiaz
Mhm.
Ali,
Yeah. Imtiaz
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Oh, I
and
want to
music
watch
by A.R.
that.
Rahman, which will
It's
be
gonna be
amazing.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hope that's good.
but I think the biggest hit of the year, I like obviously it's not going to be. Maybe it will be dubbed in Hindi. It's going to be Pushpa 2, I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, I'd probably put money on that too. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
The only two I'd add is I think this year there's a film called Madgaon Express, which is Kunal Khemu's directorial
Yeah.
debut, and it just
Yeah.
Mhm.
sounds very cool, sounds very interesting, and it looks like another buddy road trip movie, but he described it as when I watched Zindagi Na Milegi, Dobara, a lot of us just couldn't connect it, like we can't go to Spain, so what do we do? And wanting to make like their version of that, which just sounds really fun. And the other one is Citadel. Speaking of Varun Dhawan, which is the terrible Priyanka Chopra show, which we shouldn't talk about, but this is the Indian spin-off of that made by Rajan
Rajan
TK, which I
TK.
imagine will be much better. So that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, yeah, uh,
Is
yeah.
Family Man 3 coming this year?
I doubt it'll be this year. I think they're still writing it, and yeah. So
Yeah.
best case scenario, it shoots this year. So end of this
They've
year.
taken on a lot. Like even they announced Guns and Gulabs Part Two also, right? Like
So
Yeah.
yeah, they have Guns and Gallops 2, Family Man 3. Farzi is not announced, but there is definitely going to be a Farzi 2. So those are all up in the air. They've got another show coming out this year, which they've produced, which sounds bloody cool, which is Gulkanda Tales, which is supposed to be like a fantasy comedy, which sounds nuts. And I know they're working on like plus a bunch of stuff we don't even know about yet. So
wow,
plus they're supposed to be writing a Marvel film or some shit. I don't know how true that
wow,
is, but that there was an announcement. So yeah, they are operating
very
on
busy.
various
Yeah,
frequencies. Yeah.
And
yeah.
on Suraj Barjatia's IMDb page, I can see that he's making a movie with Salman Khan, starring
Yeah.
Bhagyashree and Pariniti Chopra, and it's
Isn't
called
it called Prem?
Prem Ki
Yeah.
Shadi.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So there's a lack of Khans on the thing yet. I don't think we're not going to see them. There's probably going to be movies. They just not haven't been announced. I know there
Oh,
were.
do you think Shah Rukh's project that I was talking about, like, do you think that's the one with Sanjay Leela Bhansali?
I thought Ranveer is making Bhansali's film, not Shah Rukh.
Ranveer
I
is
thought
doing it.
I thought Ranveer is that's his next film, right? He's in prep for. I can't remember the title. It's like a mouthful of a title. But I thought that's Ranveer's next film.
Interesting.
Apart from Dawn, which sounds fun. I don't think that's this
I
year.
know they've been
But
trying to make Baiju Bavra for.
that's the one. That's the one with
Oh,
Ranveer. Yeah.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Let me just Google.
There was the one that Sanjay Leela Bhansali offered Salman, and like that didn't work out.
I thought that
Uh,
was Padmavatuni. No, that maybe
no,
I'm
no, that
wrong.
wasn't Padmavat. So that was the one with Alia, and then there was like talk about like him offering it to Shah Rukh, but I don't know if it went anywhere.
I know Shah Rukh said no to Khilji from Padmavat.
Yes,
That
but
was
that was
yeah.
like years ago.
years ago. Yeah, so I don't know. Um, I
and
think Ranveer is doing Beju Babra. I think.
and also like Bhansali's Hira Mandi comes out sometime
Yes,
this year.
yes, yes. That's also
When?
this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we've been like waiting and waiting and waiting for that one. I don't know when that's
Also,
coming
for
out.
any fans, Mirzapur season 3 will be this year also.
Is that the final season?
I don't know.
How many more people can they kill?
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, I wouldn't be surprised. On the other hand, it is like the biggest one, so you'd want to sort of do as much
Mm.
as you can with it. So let's see.
Great. Let's call it. What do you think? I think Pushpa we already mentioned. What do you think is going to be the? I'm going to play a clip of what we thought was going to be the big hit. By the way, we didn't see Gadar 2 be on the list. We really made fun of it a lot, and it was literally one of the biggest hits of the year. I think Amrita, you called Jawan that it was going to be massive, and it is. Uh, Animal, we also called good performance, which is actually is. And I think Sujoy said, how toxic is it going to be? It's very toxic. But yeah, what do you think? I think I had higher hopes for Archie's that it would be a big hit, but it's a streaming thing, so it's not
Mm.
really very. And then Tiger 3 ended up being a disappointment. We all thought it was going to be a big hit, which it's not. But yeah, what do you think, Suchin? What do you think is going to be the big hit of the year next year?
I'm just having a quick look. I think I'm gonna say Fighter, Kalki. I don't know about biggest hit of the year, but like will be sizable hits. And I think there's a Kantara prequel
Two,
that I
yeah.
think is
Prequel.
coming out this year,
Yeah,
and that'll be a big
Devara.
one.
I think Devara, it's what it's called.
Yeah. So yeah, I think those are the big ones that come. I don't know what the others. I'm trying to think of the other big non-Hindi films. I know Vijay's got a new film where they released a poster where he's. But yeah, I don't know what the other big. I think Mani Ratnam and Kamal Hassan have a film. I'm guessing that's next year.
Oh, Thug
Uh,
Life.
Thug
Thug
This
Life.
Life.
Thug
Yeah,
Life.
yeah.
Imagine
Fast.
them both listening to Tupac Shakur. Whenever I hear that line, I was like, oh, yeah.
Uh,
So, Joy, what do you
Yeah.
think is going to be the biggest and which do you think you're going to probably enjoy the most?
oh, I think I'm gonna enjoy Chamkila the most. I think
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. Like Diljit and Imtiaz Ali and A.R.
Yeah.
Rahman coming together, something to look forward to. I think my money is on Pushpa too.
What about Hindi, though?
Hmm. I don't know. I really don't know. Nothing on that list looks inspiring enough to make a
Yeah.
lot of money.
Fighter.
I
I
really
think
feel that Kalki is going to become like Adipurush.
mm. I
I mean,
think Fighter is definitely gonna make money though.
hmm.
I don't think it's gonna flop. I also think like Pushpa 2 is going to be like a monster hit. Like it's gonna be a monster hit. I also think that if Chote Mia Bade Mia and Welcome Back to the Jungle doesn't work out for Akshay, then we are going to see like MP Akshay, or like like
Mm.
he's 100% going to
Pivot.
switch
Pivot.
careers, because he's cooked in that case,
Yeah.
because there's if he can't do those two movies, like he can't make them work with all the with Chode Mia Bade Mia, he has Tiger Shroff, he has Ali Abbas Zafar, and like he doesn't make that work. And then like if Welcome to the Jungle with like half the industry in it, he can't make that work. Well, time to hang up those
Yeah.
boots.
Mm.
I won't. I don't have a prediction, but I have like a two hopes. One is that this sounds maybe very like reductive, but I want all the big films that I think will be good. I just want good movies to do well. So,
Yeah.
like for example, Fighter and Pushpa sound like really fun, well made, interesting commercial films. So you want that to be where the commerce goes,
Yeah.
rather than random stuff which is less than inspiring. And the other one is I really want more small films. You want Merry Christmas to make money. You want more 12th fails this year
Yeah.
to know that that
Yes.
world can exist. It's
Like
not just about Shah Rukh and Khan.
yeah, I didn't get to watch Joram, and I hear a lot of positive buzz around Manoj Vajpayee's performance in Joram,
Yeah.
and it doesn't necessarily get as much acclaim as 12th Fail has. I'm really happy for both of them to coexist in Bollywood 2023, but I think yeah, I need to seek and find out Joram and watch it. And I'm expecting that 2024 delivers on that front as well.
Because if these films don't make money, the next Joram cannot release in theaters. This one luckily did, but
Yeah.
that's all you want.
I think we're underestimating Bhool Bhulaiya 3. I think that might be one of the bigger hits of the year. And I think, the biggest probably is going to be Pushpa 2, just because of the built-in audiences both of these movies have. I think Kill is probably going to be a movie I'll really enjoy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Pushpa 2 probably too. I really like the first one, even with all of its toxicity in there. And we'll probably get some, super nationalistic, something horrible that's going to make a lot of money again, which is an ongoing theme. So let's see. We're going to play again next year. See what wins, what doesn't win. I want to thank everybody that joined us on the live. Again, if you want to see this video, sign up to Patreon from $1, and then you can,
all 9 hours of it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for joining us for so long, and thank you, Amrita, Suchin, and Sujoy for joining me with this insanity that we did. Normally, we should really do this in 2 episodes. I don't know why we did it in 1. But Suchin, man, where can people find you online?
Our review for Film Companion on YouTube, and then on Twitter at Suchin545. So yeah.
Great. Sujoy?
You can find me on all my socials on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at 9E3K.
Amrita?
You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Amrita IQ.
Drop us an email at youpodcasting@gmail.com, and follow us on Twitter, Khandaan, Asaberni, you know the drill. And thank you for joining us for again a journey. That's going to be 2024. We're starting again.
And here's to the next 1 million downloads.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sachin.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna stop.